I'll call this Bang Bang.
Seriously?
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
Witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth calls Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. State your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, Proctor.
You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Wichita, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and date them with
you a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing our toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. What's up, people? How's everyone doing out there tonight? Good? Good. Excellent. Welcome to the live show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aidan Kearney. You can call me a variety of names. You can't call me Clarence Woods Emerson anymore. That's my Facebook account, and it's gone. You guys might have seen that today. Around noon today, I got a notification that the account has been suspended. If you don't know, Clarence Woods Emerson is my Facebook alias that I created like at the beginning of Turtleboy. I needed like an alias on Facebook, and it's got like 60,000 followers, and I do a bus stop live from there every day. And, you know, people message me on there, got messages way back. I mean, just the messaging alone on that account, it has an archive of shit that I search through all the time. It's gone. It's suspended. I appealed it. I have no idea. I might never get it back again. I don't know. And then I signed into my backup account, which is I created on the day that I got arrested because I couldn't log into the Clarence account. And within an hour of me logging into that account, it was deactivated. And so then I made a new account using my real name. And within 10 seconds, that account was deactivated. So they obviously have like a trace on either my phone or my IP address or my computer, who knows? And so I can't make new accounts. So that's out of the question. So I had this thing with Twitter years ago where people who have been following me know that I was banned from Twitter for about 2 years or so. I just couldn't because usually you just make a new account. It's not a big deal. You start over from scratch, but like we did with our Instagram not too long ago. Well, with my Twitter account, every time I would make a new account, it would just get shut off immediately. Like they're obviously, you know, locking shit down. And somehow I got around it. I got a new phone number and I created an account, I think in 2020, the Dr. Turtleboy account that still exists today. And, you know, I'm able to stay on there. But with Facebook, Clarence Woods Emerson would get suspended all the time for 30 days. Whenever I would say naughty things. And often, but I would never lose it. I would never lose the account. I would always get it back after like 30 days in the hole or some punishment, whatever, a slap on the wrist. But because that was my personal account. Now the business account, the Turtleboy, because there's personal accounts on Facebook and then there's pages. And we had a page called Turtleboy Sports that in 2017 had 112,000 followers. I was huge on Facebook back in the day. Like 2017, Turtleboy was hot in the streets of Massachusetts. Like everyone was reading it. I would get more than like 3 to 4 million page views a month. Over 100,000 people a day on the website because I would drive traffic from my Facebook page, which was huge, to the blog, to the website, turtleboysports.com. And then I lost the page on November 28th, 2017. Okay. I'll make a new page. I would get that up to like 30,000 followers and then it would get deactivated. I within a month I'd have it at 30,000. And I've lost over the years at least 50 Facebook pages, like no joke. The most recent one that we have, the one that still exists, Turtleboy, that has been up for like 2 years now, which is a record. It'll probably get taken down eventually. Everything does. But I've never seen a personal account just nuked like mine was. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to evaluate this. If I'm kicked off Facebook, I'm kicked off Facebook, whatever. Like, this shit used to kill me like 8 years ago, like when I was kind of dependent on social media. I'm too big now. These people don't understand. All they see all the trolls celebrating it. Like, bitch, are you new here? You guys, that's how I know the trolls are new. Like, you guys don't know about Kevin Lynch, huh? Oh my God. You don't know about Didi Delgado. Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. There have been teams of people dedicated to taking down my Facebook pages forever. Like dedicated. That's all they do. Like, and they're all online today celebrating it. Like, bitch, you know this happens all the time, right? Like all the time. All the time. It means dick all to me. Like at fucking all. And they're gonna try to go after my YouTube and they're gonna try to go after this and that. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Take away my YouTube. Yeah, that would suck. I'll just go to Rumble. How many? I mean, shout out to the Rumble rats right now. We got 37 people on there. But if I streamed directly to Rumble, right now we have 4,000 people on YouTube. All 4,000 people would be on Rumble. Like you can't silence me. I literally built my own streaming platform on my page. I can just stream from there if I want to. Like these fucking morons are out here celebrating the stupidest shit that means nothing. I'm glad that they're so stupid. They think that's a victory. Like I give a fuck. Like I give a shit about a Facebook page. Give me a break. Give me a break. I'm way too big for them. Way too big for them. And Twitter, I'm safe. Twitter is the only free speech platform that exists anymore. So get on Twitter. People are like, I don't do X. Well, you're missing fucking out. I don't know what to tell you. Because that's where everybody's on Twitter these days. No, Elon Musk who basically runs the country, is that's it. He owns it now. It's hot. So if you're one of those people saying, I'm not on Twitter, well then fucking, do you drive a car? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get on Twitter. Everyone and their mother is on Twitter. It is the most popular social media platform, and it's not even close. Yeah, Twitter is the new Facebook, and it was dying before he got it. Like Instagram was bigger. Obviously, Facebook was bigger. Everything was bigger. And Twitter is just a million, like everything happens on Twitter now. So get on Twitter, create a Twitter account. I will never call it X. It's always going to be Twitter to me. And yeah, there you go. So anyway, I got to use Facebook, but I'm okay without it. Like, I'm being perfectly honest with you. All right. So anyway, you can also call me. That's my Facebook rant. You can also call me a variety of other nicknames, such as Uncle Turtleboy. That's what the old school Turtle Riders know me as. You can call me Doctor. It's actually my preferred pronoun, and I saw Peter Tragos the other day. Tragos. Actually, he referred to me as Doctor. I appreciate that. That is my preferred pronoun. Thank you, sir. And it didn't become a meme or a thing, so you're all set. What else? You can call me Daddy. I understand for some people that can be a little bit weird, because especially for the men, because it's kind of weird calling another man daddy. However, I will allow it. I will not outlaw it. I won't mandate it, but I will allow it. So there's that. Yes, I'm Clay's daddy. I have three. I'm proud father of 3 children, 2 of whom are alive. R.I.P. Clay. You can also call me A. Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name when I'm solving mysteries in the woods in my leather jacket, deep in thought. You can call me Journalism Jesus. And I plan on rising tomorrow from the dead. You guys don't know this. Tomorrow's Easter. Jesus is back with a vengeance. I mean, not to compare myself to Jesus or anything like that, but it's kind of similar. Like, getting nailed to the cross is much worse than losing a Facebook page, but they're both obstacles. You know what I mean? And they thought Jesus was down for the count, and they thought I was down for the count, you know? And what are they doing? What happened with Jesus after that? Oh, rose from the dead, literally started his own religion, one of the biggest religions in the world. There's a million sects of it now, of Christianity, that have been created. And yes, this is, you're right, yo. This is extremely disrespectful. I'm a devout Catholic, but I am extremely disrespectful. So if you want a respectful channel, you have come to the wrong place. It's about to get a million times more offensive than what I just said about comparing myself to Jesus. Okay. Like a million times. So I would just log off, go watch something else. You'll be better off that way. Your feelings won't get hurt. There's a million ways to consume Can read content. We don't have time for people like that over here. So get the fuck out. Anyway, what else is I going to say? Okay. Yeah. Cause people keep, I'm just going to read one message I got here. It says, I will make you an email, an account, and send you the logins. We've done that before when we lost Facebook pages before. People create pages for me that have existed for a long time. Some of them, they just create then. Other ones they've had for years. And they're like, okay, just log into my account. The second I log into your account from my device, your account is gone. That's how it works. Like I've had other people do that. Like you can log into my account and I log into it and then that account's gone. They're tracking my phone, my Wi-Fi, and my computer. There's not like that's it. And I did the people like VPN, bro. We've been down to, I've been down the VPN lot too. But I bought all the VPNs. I did it all. Facebook can get around that shit. It's fucking Facebook. They know how to get around the fucking VPN. They ain't stupid. So like enough with the VPN things. I know you mean well by that, but like trust me, I've done everything. I've reset the router. I've got a new router. I've done it all. This is nothing new. Like I know newer Karen Reed people. We haven't had issues with Facebook since Karen Reed, but the Facebook problems have existed. I thought they were gone, but apparently they're back. I don't know. But anyway. People are like, you can use my account. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. If I log into your account will no longer exist. It will be gone. That's how it works. So I got to figure that out. I think that the only way around it for me is I just have to get a new phone number. That fixed it last time. Get a new phone, get a new phone number. Might be worth it, but who cares? Okay. All right. Anyway. But we don't need Facebook. I mean, we got YouTube, we got Twitter, and honestly, like whatever, we got the Pony Express. I'll figure some shit out. Like you're gonna know. I'm gonna get the news to you one way or another. Anyway, what else do we got going on? Okay, cool. So later on in the program, I'm gonna have a guest on here. He's a prosecutor actually from Indiana, right? Johnson County, Indiana. His name is Matt. I don't want to pronounce the last name wrong. Kubacki, Kubacki. And he messaged me. We've talked a few times before, but I just want to read the message that he sent me. And he said, okay, assuming you'll be covering the second trial again, because I'm pretty interested in this. And I think Karen Reed is beyond innocent. And I am the chief of our homicide unit. I am more than happy to lend any legal analysis of this if you'd like. And I said, sure. And would you like to come on? And he said, sure. Anytime. I've watched things on this many times. Both of us sit here and think something messed up is going on. Okay, great. I'll be in touch if I'm not sequestered, I said. And I wasn't. And he said, I heard that you got good news on the sequester. Congrats. Like I said, I'm happy to give my thoughts on things because this case is beyond messed up in terms of BS forensics for the prosecution. And so I invited him on and I told him to jump on around 9:45. I don't like to read too many turtle chats in front of my guests. So it'll be interesting to have a prosecutor on here just to talk about his thoughts on it. So we'll be having him on. So trial starts Tuesday. You guys ready for this? We're doing this all over again. Opening statements Tuesday. Alan Jackson's going. I'm really excited to see what they got in this opening. What have they been hiding from us? Because they don't show their hand anymore like they used to the defense. What are they going to announce in this opening that they have? And Hank is already trying to handicap them. He filed a motion, I don't know if you guys saw it, where he doesn't want them to show the arm picture. Doesn't want them to show the arm picture. Doesn't that say everything? Doesn't that say everything? Because it goes to the, you're not allowed to mention third party during the opening. It's like, why is he so scared of the third party thing? Like, why is he so scared of this? That's the entire defense is third party, right? Why are you, if the arm doesn't show dog bites, then why are you afraid of him showing it? Right? I mean, it came from a tail light, right? That's what you're saying, Spanky, right? That's your whole argument. The cuts on the arm came from a tail light. So if anybody looks at that arm, anyone with common sense, right? When they look at that arm, they're going to look at that arm and be like, what do you think did that? And they're going to like, tail light, obviously. Duh. Show that picture of his arm to 100 people and ask them, What do you think caused that? How many of them are going to be like, oh, I know the answer. Exploding taillight. Exploding taillight. No. 99 people are going to say dog bite or dog scratch. Something. That's what that looks like. Right? So, or, maybe crackhead or a prostitute, something like, I don't know, but certainly not exploding taillight. But that's why he doesn't want it shown. It's just, you see that picture and it's over. Ask anyone, it's just done. I don't even need Garrett Wing or Dr. Marie Russell. I'll take them, but I don't need them. I don't need them to I don't even need the crash daddies, quite frankly, to look at John's injuries and know that didn't come from a fucking car. Give me a break. I was all in on this case before I heard of the crash daddies, before I heard of Dr. Marie Russell or Garrett Wing or anything like that. Because I got eyes and I have a brain and I look at that shit and it's like, bro, come on. And I'll tell you one thing. I was just listening to Carl Steinbeck do his analysis of the closing of Alan Jackson, and Carl Steinbeck he's an attorney. He doesn't hold back. Like, he's not here to kiss the defense's ass at all. Like, he believes in Karen Reed's innocence, obviously, but he's also like not here to just tell them how great they are. So he was playing the closing, and I agree with everything he was saying in there, man. You guys should go listen to him. And I hope that Alan Jackson and them take notice too. And one thing I hadn't even thought of with that closing is Alan Jackson read a speech off a piece of paper. Can't do that. Can't do that. You got it. I've watched a lot of closings before. I don't know if I've seen anyone read off a piece of paper like that. And I think that matters a lot, right? You got to play the 911 tape. He's big into the 911 tape, the Jennifer McCabe 911 tape. He's big into that. He thinks the fact that she is whispering in that throughout the entire thing is suspicious in and of itself. He pointed out what I pointed out, like reasonable doubt. Those words didn't come up to like the 51st minute of that video. And there's just too much. It's too much information. It's just too much, this and it's like, and it flows and whatever, but you just got to hammer it home, have more visuals, hammer it home, play the 911 tape, reasonable doubt, blah, blah, blah. You can do it. Just take the same shit, do it differently. That's all. Watch Carl Steinbeck's thing on it. It's really good. And hopefully Auntie Bev won't put a time limit on this time, but she will. She will. Okay. All right. Anyway, and shout out to my Rumble rats over there saying that fuck YouTube, need to get your own Turtleboy network. I mean, I kind of do. I mean, I can exist without social media. I'll be fine. I got other people that can share it. Like, we'll be good. So anyway, if you guys want to have your messages read out loud to the class tonight, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and I will read your messages that way. You can pay whatever you want, right? And I will, you can write your message and I'll read it. Just try to keep it a little bit short. It's not all about you, but other than that, today's April 19th. Today's the 30th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bomb, actually. I saw that on the news today. Okay. Celine sends $60 and says $60 for 60 days in the hole. I was in the hole, right? May God bless you and continue to strengthen your empathetic love for justice. Sincerely, Celine from Seattle. Well, thank you, Celine from Seattle. I appreciate that. And, wasn't easy doing 60 days in the hole. And I thank God, I thought about today. I'm like, I would be 30. I'd be on my 33rd day right now if I had been thrown back in on March 18th. Dude, I came really close to going back, and it wasn't even PC. I wish it was PC. PC had, they got rec time in PC. PC is where the pedos and the cops go. And, but they got like 9 hours of rec a day in PC. I was in medical, bro. Medical is the whole. Medical sucks. Medical, you have a camera in your room at all times. You can't do anything in there. Every time you go to the bathroom, it's on video. Everything's on video in there. Everything. And you're just by yourself, just alone. 3 hours of rec a day. That's it. It's fucking hell. Like, it's absolute fucking hell. Mental hell. So, yeah. It's basically the whole, it was horrible. Anyway, back to this. Hold My Halo sends $10 and goes, I just want to share my theory. Just kidding. Thank you for all your hard work. Always love the articles. Well, thank you. Hold My Halo. You get the humor. Patty sends $50, goes, no comment. I'm just helping your defense fund. Well, thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And we will definitely put that to good use. It's been over 6 weeks now since our motion to dismiss was heard. We haven't heard back. We're hoping that Judge Doolin is chopping that indictment to shreds right now. We'll see, though. Next one. Annetta sends $10 and goes, do you think Hank is frustrated because only now he is realizing what a pile of crap he stepped into? I honestly don't think he knew the case well when he agreed to prosecute it. Go Turtleboy. I'm with you 1000% on that. I don't think Hank had any idea what he was signing up for. None. I think the Krauskys are the people who dragged him into this. They're with him at every court hearing. Joe Krauski Sr. even brought his grandson the other day. And I got no problem with Joe Krauski Sr. I like him, even though he said I wasn't a victim. He represented Jill Daniels. I got nothing against them. But I think the Krauskys are the ones that got him into this because they had a personal relationship with him beforehand. And they're kind of like the official attorneys of the McAlberts. Him and Joe Jr. represented Colin. I don't know. I just think that Hank had no idea what he was getting into because how could he? And then he realized he had that stupid speech where he's like, I want to get justice for Karen Reed and I want to have her have a fair trial. Oh my God. And all he's done then is try to hide the ball. I do wonder, I was thinking that today. I'm like, I wonder if Hank, who isn't stupid as much as he pretends to be, I wonder if he knows, like when he goes home, like he has to know that when he talks to Jennifer McCabe, he's talking to a murderer, right? Like he knows that, right? Like he knows that like she did that. She did that. She Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. He can't be that stupid. He knows what she did. That has to. How does he feel about that? How does he feel that he has to like pretend that he doesn't believe that and protect this woman? Oh, good job, Spanky. Good job. Louise sends $10, goes, please be careful next week with JLR at court and keep him away from Meredith. I know Meredith can hold her own, but he has some serious issues and spent time in prison. I'm very familiar with this character now, Jonathan Lee Richens. I call him Prison Boy. I made him my bitch last year. He's like one of these shock jock people who jumps out with the camera and like films you and is like, oh, he expects you to be like, get the camera out of my face, dude, leave me alone. Cut the shit. That's what he expects you to do. Oh, I just took my camera out and I did it right back to him. And it's like, Prison Boy. That's all I call him. Prison Boy. That's what he is. He's a little prison boy bitch. He spent 10 years in federal prison for being a bitch. That's what he is. He's not welcome in he attacked the children of Newtown, Connecticut. He bought into that whole Alex Jones thing that this is not true. And he's not wanted. He got kicked out of Newtown. That's all you need to know about this piece of shit. 10 years in federal prison, complete fraud. And after I bitched him down, because that's what I did, it's on video, I fucking owned that motherfucker. He is my bitch. So my bitch, JLR, says he's coming back. Ooh, come on. Come see me, buddy. Oh, please do. Please do, JLR. Bring your bitch ass back here. Although it's different this time around. If Hardo, if Lieutenant Hardman doesn't arrest this motherfucker if he tries the same shit, then the buffer zone's fake. right? Because the shit he pulled last year, they're not going to allow it this year. That's what he said. So if he comes in there and he's yelling at Karen Reed and violating the buffer zone, right, then he needs to be arrested on the spot. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to do it. We'll see. All right, next up. Rosaline sends $10 and goes, Turtleboy, Dr. Turtleboy, ever wonder why the court is not concerned about Lori Daybell trying to escape while walking around without shackles? She's wearing a shock belt. A local reporter tested the belt out, and it's the most hysterical video with the cameraman doing slow motion during impact. I thought we could all use a laugh before the Karen retrial starts. Let me see this. She sent me a video. I guess I can play this. Hold on. This is I didn't know that. Hold on. I mean, she's not going to escape because there's a million.
You may wonder how convicted murderer Lori Vallow Daybell is able to walk around inside a courtroom unrestrained. And the answer is this: stun technology hidden under her clothes. It looks like a bulletproof vest, but it's not.
It's not. It actually has 4 points of contact. It's pretty much at the top and in the back.
Let's talk specifically about Lori Vallow Daybell. So she's wearing something like this. What is this?
That's correct. So this is what we call, many people know it as a rack belt, a stun belt. Very clear. This isn't like a taser. It does not work like a taser. It's pretty much pain compliance. So what happens is you have the prongs just like you did in the vest. Okay. So this makes contact with your body. You can feel it right there, right? So in this case, what we do is we put it around the waist. So pretty much like this.
And this is just designed to give you a lot of pain, correct?
This is pain compliance. Like I said, unlike a taser, it doesn't affect the muscles.
The sheriff's office asked me if I wanted to know what the belt felt like. An actual stun would last 8 seconds, so I didn't put the belt all the way around me and fasten it. Still. Ah, jeez, Louise. Woo! I get it.
Wasn't that bad? It was terrible. Can you imagine 8 seconds?
No.
All right. So that's how Lori Vallow does it. I did not know that. So thank you for sharing, Rosaline. All right. Hans sends $10, goes, shout out to my homeboy Carlos doing big things on the Ground and Pound MMA podcast. Yeah. Okay. I've talked to a couple people at Barstool Sports, speaking of podcasts, about possibly setting up something involving, because there's a bunch of people at Barstool who are very into this. And recently, Francis Ellis recently got into it. He did a thing on it. And Casey Smith is also really into it. She follows me on there and she's all into the FKR shit. So, and I'm like, we got to get Dave on though. We have to get Dave. I've talked to Big Cat a few times about it, but I mean, they just do sports podcasts. They don't do podcasts about this, but this is a special thing. This is a special thing. So maybe they flip it up for this. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And, you can say whatever, fuck Barstool, whatever. They have a huge platform, period. It's like, and their audience is overwhelmingly free Karen Reed. Read any of the comments on any Jerry Thornton blog about the case. And it is just overwhelmingly pro Karen Reed. So there's that. Okay, Courtney sends $10, goes, thanks for teaching me that hashtags aren't cool anymore. Hashtag journalism Jesus. Buried with the ratchets, raised to free us from the mainstream media. Yes, that is exactly what I'm here to do. Thank you, Courtney. Brittany sends $10, goes, did you see Julie Grant on Court TV taking the fifth with Wendy Murphy? Yes, and we're going to play some of that tonight. So we will be getting into that. So thank you very much, Brittany. Adam Lally's cheese sandwich sends $10, goes, I like to think that the Crash Daddies are pissed at Hank and they're doing mock testimonies, getting ready to come to Dedham and make Hank look like a schmuck. Free Karen Reed. That is exactly what they're doing. Dude, last time was Child's Play. The Crash Daddies and Dr. Marie Russell last time were Child's Play. They are going to come back a million times stronger than they were the first time. A million times stronger. The one I'm worried about a little bit is Lucky Loughran, because Lucky's just a nice guy who just wants to plow the roads, and Hank is going to try to attack him viciously. It's going to be bad, although that's going to look bad too. when you're attacking a plow guy. But remember what Ronnie said? Fucking that pissed me off about like, oh, that Lucky was the worst witness. What? Yeah, what? Like, oh, he hit a basketball hoop. It was hanging over the fucking road. It was an accident. Like, what? What does that have to do with? He's like, I would have seen a body if a body was there, you know. But he wasn't allowed to say that in the testimony. He wasn't allowed to say that he would have seen a body had a body been there. But you know, these other, I'm sure the Crash Daddies, this time around, I've been told that they've been given the text stream info. They've been given the info about the taillight, the DNA, all the shit that they tried to use to discredit them last time. Like, did you get this info? Did you get this? I heard they did get it this time around. So they're not going to be able to hold that over their heads. Instead, they're going to be like, how much did you get paid to be here? Bitch, I was reimbursed for my travel expenses and paid for my time. Like you are, bitch. I mean, if he can bring up what the ARCA people are getting paid, how come they can't bring up what he's getting paid? You're getting paid too, right, Spanky? We're all getting paid here. This whole thing, Auntie Bella's getting paid. Everyone's getting paid. Except for Karen Reed. She's not getting dick. She will afterwards, but for now, she's not. So, okay. Anyway. Back to this. Ron and Kerry Dronsico send $10 and goes, hey, Doc, Brennan's meltdown because of you was the highlight of the week. Love it and well done. Turtle Riders, don't forget to check out Doc's older videos. The wife and I have been having a blast going through all the old content. Good times. Yeah, have a trip down memory lane. If you're new here and you want to see what I'm all about and see the evolution of the Turtleboy brand, go ahead and do that. So thank you for that one. And yeah, Hank did have a meltdown in court the other day. It didn't go very well. And sucks to be him. Linda sends $10, goes, when will we find out about the Jen Kerry stuff you've been hinting about? Can you get a little more info, please? Okay, so I guess what I can tell you is that we got a bunch of text messages in Discovery, both Karen Reed and I, that are under protective order. So we can't talk about the contents of those messages, but they can come out at trial. And we asked for all communications between, you know, the DA's office and witnesses in this case. And boy, was there a lot. And some people do a lot more talking than other people. Some people are a chatterbox, you might even call them. And they're very involved in shit they shouldn't be involved in. And, you know, it's safe to say that this time around, Kerry Roberts will be cross-examined by the defense. I would put that in their top 5 biggest mistakes that they made in the last trial. And they made many mistakes in hindsight because they didn't get an acquittal. But the Kerry Roberts the failure to cross-examine her, the failure to cross-examine Dr. Stonebridge, the failure to cross-examine Nicholas Barros, you know, it's going to be good though, man. The Kerry Roberts shit is so fucking shady. And it's like, how is this not given to them in the first trial? How is this not given to them? They're like, what the fuck? Dude. They're worse than you thought. Let's just put it that way. They are worse than you thought. So you will see it all. I'm sure it will all come out of trial. And Kerry Roberts is going to have a lot of explaining to do. And I can't. It's under protective order, guys. I'm not fucking violating a court order. Like, so I don't know what else to say. I'm not being a tease. I can't wait. I don't know what you want me to tell you. So anyway, next up, John sends $50 and says, Hank, tell me you're losing without telling me you're losing. Oh, he's losing. All right. He is losing big time. It's not going very well. Gray sends $5 and goes, hey, Daddy, I loved your latest article on the Juror A saga. I hope Judge Bev reads it and feels bad about her choices for at least half a second before she goes back to drowning her morals in White Claw. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Hashtag free Turtleboy. Yes, very much so. Okay, cool. All right, next up. All right, let me read some Cash Apps actually too. All right, Alyssa sends $25, goes, "Hey doctor, big fan here. Keep up the good work." Well, thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that very much. Edward sends $10 and goes, "Food Stamp Friday used to be must read." Yes, it was. For those of you unfamiliar, I had a segment that we used to do every Friday. I would write a blog about I would find somebody on Facebook selling their food stamps for half price or for 60% on the dollar, something like that. And because I would just expose food stamp fraud. And so we'd have this thing called Food Stamp Friday where I would just expose anybody selling their food. It was so easy you would just search in the key bar about like food stamps for sale and you could find all this shit. Oh, Rights On. You sent me that video last night of Tonic too. Oh my God. You got to see this. So this idiot Tonic you can't Rights On. You sent me on Facebook and now I'm kicked off Facebook. So I can't even watch the video. So there's this guy, his name is Zachary Martin. And you guys ever see this video? Before I started doing the Kearney case, one night in like April or March of 2023, around 2:00, I get a call saying that, or no, around 5:00, cop shows up to my house, 2 of them. And they're like, "We got a call that you have a gun in your mouth and you're threatening to kill yourself." I'm like, "What?" You guys got to hear this. Let me see if I can find this. And it was, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" "No, I don't have a gun in my mouth." So I was swatted. And then at 2 a.m, I woke up to a knock on the door. It's like a knock. It was with a flashlight too. And I see flashlight coming into my fucking house. I'm like, fuck, I was scared shit. My kids woke up. It was whatever. And it was another, it was the Holden police again. Another case of, are you trying to kill yourself? Whatever. I asked the Holden police. I told them I'm not suicidal. Okay. If anybody I wouldn't announce to the world if I was. So any call you get, you can just call me, and they have my phone number. Okay, you can just call me. And so I got the 911 tapes on this because I wanted to hear it. And these are the tapes. I'll play them. Let's see. So this is
Say how he was going to do it. Yeah, he said he was going to wrap his car around a tree.
So this is Zach.
I don't like this at all. 111 Holden, Massachusetts. Yeah. And he said he's threatening to off himself, you said? Yeah, it's really concerning. I don't like this at all. What did he say exactly? And he said, just straight up, he's depressed and he wants to kill himself. Did he say directly that he was going to kill himself? Yeah. Did he say how he was going to do it? Yeah, he said he was going to wrap his car around a tree.
I don't even know this person. This person lives in like goddamn,
like I said, sir, I don't like this
Florida. And so there's that.
Say that one more time, sorry. I don't like this at all. This is very concerning. Over phone call, over text. Oh, he said it to. I was on the phone with one of my friends. He was in the call with us.
So this is at like 2 a.m, and then the other one was from this other chick, Victoria Haskins, who I got restraining orders on both these people. She lived in Vermont, and I had no idea who she was. She was just some person who was obsessed with me. Thank God she has gone away. Hopefully she stays there. She would call me all the time and harass me, and I had no fucking clue who she was. And this is the call that she left with the police.
Anything like that, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or he had a gun on the phone.
Dispatcher's line's recorded.
Hi, I was just on the phone with someone. His name is Aidan Kearney, and he said he was going to he had a gun in his mouth, and I was wondering if you guys could do a welfare check. I'm very concerned.
Aidan Kearney?
Aidan Kearney.
A-I-D-E-N?
A.M.
A-I-D-A, I believe A-N.
She even knows how to spell it.
A-I-D-E-N, what? And how do you spell last name?
K-E-A-R-N-E-Y.
B-E-A-R-N-E-Y? Okay.
I'm terrified right now.
Oh, okay. And what did you say is happening?
So we were on the phone. I called him to talk about something.
You were on the phone with Aidan?
I was on the phone with Aidan Kearney.
And what did Aidan say?
And Aidan said that he was depressed and he had a gun in his mouth. We talked about several things, but
he said he was depressed and had a gun in his mouth?
That's what he told me.
Hang on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, so what is the address where Aidan is?
Hi, it's, oh God, I'm not exactly sure. I
What
believe
town?
it's Mason. It's in Holden, Mason Road.
Mason Road? You don't know what number though?
No, I'll try to find it.
All right, how old is Aidan?
He's about 41.
41?
She knows my exact age.
Do you know Aidan's last name?
Yes, Kearney, and sorry, I'm really just frantic right now, but his number is 1.
You said that he sent you a picture with a gun in his mouth?
No, he didn't send me a picture. We were on the phone, and he said something about having a gun in his mouth, and his voice sounded muffled.
So he just said it while you were on a phone call with him?
Yeah, because I asked him if he was depressed, because he sounded depressed, and that's what he said.
Hold on one moment, okay?
Okay.
So anyway, you guys get the point there. Yeah, the cops came to my house thinking I have a fucking gun in my mouth. That's like dangerous. Like people get killed doing that. And Zachary Martin, I guess. I mean, he's like an internet troll. Like I don't even know this person. He lives in Florida. I've never written about him. He's just a fucking loser on YouTube. And anyway, long story short, Writes On sends me this video last night that I watched of Tonic. Somebody went real world on him and I guess he lives in Kansas, and flew to where he lived in Kansas and confronts him to his face. And like, it's such good content. You got to see it. But anyway, thank you for sending that to me. Writes On. Okay. Anyway, let's see. So let me just read a couple more before I bring my guest on here. Let's see. We got Shaylin sends $5, goes Bradle should join the dream team and be Bev's eye candy. Yeah, she liked him. He liked him, I think. You're right. Chad sends $5 and goes, hi. Hi, Chad. Okay. Ryan sends $5 and goes, sub to Erica Walsh's YouTube channel. We got questions. All right. Everyone's got a YouTube now. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Ryan. Beverly sends $25 and goes, Daddy, tell everyone to quit arguing. Scares me. Okay. Quit arguing. Thank you, Beverly. All right. So anyway, Dominique sends $10 and just goes jury tampering. Okie dokie. All right. So that's that. All right. So anyway, like I said, if anybody else wants to have their message read, I didn't read them all the turtle chats. I will get to them. But I want to bring on a guest in a minute. Once again, this guy's name is Matt Kubacki. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He is a prosecutor in Johnson County, Indiana, which is just south of Indianapolis. And he seems to believe fully that this case is complete bullshit. And it'd be nice to hear from a prosecutor and what they think of it. So I'm going to bring on Matt now. Let's see if we got him there. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Well, thank you for having me. I was going to come on here and call you daddy at first, but
You don't have to do that.
It's a little weird, so I'm going to call you doctor instead.
It's not required. So I appreciate that. So yeah, so you're a prosecutor in John. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a prosecutor in Johnson County. I'm the homicide chief deputy. So basically, if there's a dead body in the county, it's going to have to run through me. So I screen everything. I start from the investigative standpoint. So I work very closely with our law enforcement partners in the county to try to make sure that everything we're doing from start to finish is done not only by the books, but also because we want to make sure that we're actually filing a case that we can prove. I also handle all of the OWI death cases, or those ones that have pretty significant accident reconstruction situations. So I'm very familiar with biomechanics and kind of how all reconstruction matters work. And that dates back to when I first started as a prosecutor in Marion County, which is Indianapolis, which has the highest crime rate in our state. And then I also did criminal defense work for about 6 years before coming back there. So I've kind of done the whole gamut of everything. And this is one case that I rarely give into the conspiracy theory type matters. And I usually hate watching crime documentaries or anything about this, but I kind of fell into your Twitter, and watching all of this, I realized this case is just full of shit. Like, there's no other way to put it. It's like, this is just the weirdest situation I have ever come across where I actually believe there's a cover-up going on here.
Well, I guess the first question would be, what would you do if you were the assistant district attorney and you were handed this case? What would you do?
Oh, not file it at all. I would move forward. I mean, a prosecutor's job, right, is not just to get a conviction. It's to really kind of suss out and figure out what the truth is, right? That's from like the highest sort of philosophical standpoint. and here you've got John O'Keefe, you know, who lost his life. And it's kind of being lost in everything is that it's being made a big mockery about what's going on. And the prosecutor is essentially trying to just get some sort of conviction that, you know, really just figures out if they're credible or not. They're trying to litigate their credibility, not actually find the truth about what actually happened. And I think that's what the most important thing that needs to be done here is looking through it. After that first mistrial with the hung jury, I wouldn't have gone forward with the second prosecution. I would have been done. The first prosecutor shouldn't have done it to begin with, but definitely the second time around, they shouldn't have gone forward now. And I think you're kind of seeing it in how they're handling it.
Well, I've heard reports, and I've reported this, that every assistant district attorney in Michael Morrissey's office either refused to do this or said that they weren't up for it, which is why he had to hire a special prosecutor for this. In your county, do they ever hire special prosecutors? And what are the circumstances in which they do that?
We will. Normally, it's just when there's a conflict of interest. So a defendant has some sort of a connection to somebody in our office or the elected prosecutor. That's typically how we do it. So if a police officer is the one that's arrested, we might do something like that. In this case, it's probably just because nobody wanted it. I mean, it's become probably a laughing stock within the office, and you don't want to be covered in the press, both local and kind of nationwide, looking like a fool. I think the first prosecutor, unfortunately, did that. You know, he looked pretty bad.
Adam Lally?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he had no personality. He had no flair. He had no charisma. I mean, don't you, as a prosecutor, when you're prosecuting a murder case and you're trying to put a bad guy away, don't you have a little bit of, like, I don't know, flair or like passion? Because, I mean, you're trying to put a bad guy away. I didn't see that at all from Adam Lally in the first trial.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of the job is kind of just, I always joke around, it's who can bullshit better. And that's kind of what you have to do as an attorney, is it's a little bit of theatrics. He didn't have any personality at all. He sort of looked a little slovenly and unkempt, you know, with his jacket unbuttoned. He didn't really seem to want to present any good evidence. He just did a bad job. His presentation of the case was horrible. Then you look at Karen's attorneys, they did a really good job. I thought, you know, Yannetti's closing was one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
Jackson's closing or Yannetti's opening?
Jackson's closing. I mean, it was just really good. The way they presented everything and the story they told, you know, they don't have any burden at all, right? They don't have to prove anything on the defense side, but they gave forward this really good alternative theory that actually made sense and kind of called into question, why the hell aren't we looking at these other people? Why aren't we looking into, you know, why we had these weird butt dials and butt answers? Why we had a police officer who doesn't come outside of his house when there's a dead body on his lawn, you know, and want to do anything? Why is the dog given up 3 months later down the road? All of these things that, you know, you normally don't have in a case, that from a defense attorney standpoint, you're looking at this and kind of licking your chops saying, hey, this is going to be good. And they presented a hell of a case.
Now, what would you do as a prosecutor if you had to work with witnesses like Jennifer McCabe and Brian Albert and others whose story just sounded shady or not believable or tough to sell to a jury? Like for instance, the Google search, the 227 Google search. In fairness, they didn't have that Google search when they charged Karen Reed. But after finding out about that Google search 15 months after the fact, their immediate reaction wasn't to, figure out if this was real. Their immediate reaction was to discredit it. Like they didn't have an expert to discredit it yet. And they just immediately jumped on to protecting Jennifer McCabe. As a prosecutor, if you had witnesses like that, what kind of challenge, what would you do? And what kind of challenge would that be?
In a lot of your cases, you're going to have bad facts and bad witnesses, and you got to confront them head on. And by not doing that, you really look like you have zero credibility, and you look like you're hiding the ball or something from the jury. And jurors look through that, especially in today's day and age where everyone loves true crime drama and they love to kind of suss through things on these podcasts. You're finding more and more of these jurors are really questioning a lot of things. And as a prosecutor, especially because it's your case and it's your burden, if you're not putting it forward, you look bad. I would have, really done just that. And I would have talked with her about it and say, look, we're going to ask you these questions. We're going to come head on with it and try to figure out what we can do. The issue is there's not really a good answer for her, right? So you have the two schools of thought of, okay, it could have been done at 2 something in the morning, which is very plausible. It could have been a 2 a.m. window that was searched at 6 something in the morning, also plausible. But she can't explain away why she deleted that search. And that's probably the one most damning thing that I think completely destroys her credibility in terms of being, a corroborative witness to actually get the prosecutor over the finish line, where she just looks foolish. And she honestly becomes a suspect in some way, which on the defense side, that's really all you have to do is just throw a little bit of mud in the water and it really takes them down.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned deleting the Google search. So I've never seen this before, and I'm wondering if you have as a prosecutor, where she claims that all of this data from the phone that's saying that she didn't just delete the Google search, she deleted 18 phone calls, that she called John 6 times between 12:40 and 12:50, that the Life 360 data has her daughter out till 1:30 in the morning when she says she's home at 12:30, all this stuff. Her answer to that is, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't delete anything. I don't know. I've never seen. Have you seen a case like this before? I mean, I assume usually as a prosecutor, when you're using phone data, you're using it on the offensive, not the defensive. And what does the defense? What does like a defendant say to that usually? Like, whereas like have you ever seen anything like this where the response, if you confronted your witness, because obviously they're going to be questioned about this. If you confronted Jennifer McCabe and you said, here's 18 deleted phone calls, why did you delete those? And she told you, I didn't delete those. What would you say next?
You're lying to me. You're full of it. You can start to read between the lines. Cell phones are, especially in today's day and age, are basically, these miniature computers that hold so much information. And really anyone that knows me from a practice standpoint knows I love when I get cell phone data. In homicide cases, especially, where in our county, we're seeing a rise in juvenile homicide related matters. And kids these days love their cell phones, and they have the holy grail of information and evidence for me. So for her to say that she didn't do something, that's not true. She had to have. These things don't disappear. You can't just delete them. There's circumstances where things can happen and glitches can happen, but if she said, I didn't delete them, it's like, well, that's not good enough. And you're going to have to be honest with me because I don't believe you. And a jury's not going to believe you. And a defense attorney is going to jump all over you like white on rice. So you have to do better. You have to actually come clean with me. And if they refuse to do it, sometimes you're just stuck with the turd witness, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's interesting. I do wonder if, I said this earlier in the show, I wonder if Adam Lally and Hank Brennan believe her. Or are they just doing their job? Like when they go home and they lay their head down on their pillows at night, like, do they think like, oh yeah, I'm defending the good guys here and Karen Reed's the bad guy. Like I truly wonder that. Whereas like when you prosecute a case, when you prosecute a defendant, has there ever been a time where you've second guessed the defendant's guilt or innocence?
If I did, I wouldn't move forward with it. That's just how I operate. If I truly have questions about what I'm charging, I'm not moving forward on that charge. I'll recharge them. I'll do something different. It's one of the benefits I get in my position is that my elected prosecutor gives me that autonomy to kind of make those decisions and trust me to make the right choices if I have to. But if I was in their position, absent whoever their boss is, absent him saying you got to do it or you lose your job, I just wouldn't move forward with it. And that's probably why the other people in the office didn't want to touch this case, because it just stinks.
Right.
And they don't believe it.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. So because you're from Indiana, I know we have a lot of true crime people here. Are you familiar with the Richard Allen case?
Yeah.
What did you, I mean, how far is Delphi from Johnson County? Is that far?
It's not too far away. It's I want to say maybe like an hour and some, but one of the attorneys on it, I actually know personally pretty well that represents him.
Really? What did you think of that case? I admittedly did not follow it as much as some people, but I hear a lot of people telling me that it was somewhat of a hack job that happened there.
It's one where just because it's so close to home, I really can't say much about it. And that's more out of respect for the people I know that are on it. But it is one that probably wasn't the best case to move forward on, or it wasn't right for trial. And I think you're seeing a lot of these national attention type cases. Sometimes there's a rush to bring something to trial or a rush to charge somebody. And they don't realize that when you do that, if you're wrong, kind of like in a case like this, all you're doing is just dragging the family of a victim through the mud over and over and over again, where they're kind of just being lost and they're second fiddle to it. Yeah, we're making sure Karen Reed doesn't get, convicted of a crime she didn't commit. That's very important. That's kind of the principle of our jurisdiction, our criminal justice system, right? But we also have to make sure that the victims are getting a fair shake and a fair trial. It's in Indiana, it's a constitutional provision that a victim is entitled to a fair trial, just like a defendant is. I don't know what Massachusetts does, but I'm sure they have something similar to us.
Do you think John O'Keefe has gotten a fair trial?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's rarely been a case like this where I've tried, trust me, I tried to be objective and sift through everything and see, is there something here, right? Every single piece of evidence that the prosecutor wants to move forward on, there is a reasonable doubt attached to that. Every single one has a reasonable explanation, which is what raises reasonable doubt to those pieces of evidence. And so all you're doing is just delaying the inevitable, that at some point in time, you're going to find out who actually did do this, or what people did it, or if there was an animal that did it. But it might be too late. It might be too late where you've kind of pressed on for Karen Reed and you're basically saying, well, we thought she did it at first, but now we understand that we're wrong. This is the person that did it. You can trust us this time.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
And it probably wouldn't, because you have to say that. You have to say that, and you look foolish saying.
Right. Yeah, they would look ridiculous after all they've been through, and they're all in. They can't. They're pot committed. They can't back out now. They had a chance. I thought they had an out when the Google search came out, when I first started writing about this 2 years ago. That was their out. That was their chance to say, you know what, we're just going to stop this. But they put their pedal to the metal, and ever since then, they've just built this case. It seems to be around, are you following the case as much as kind of like you're very familiar with all the facts? It seems like the biggest thing that they have on Karen Reed are her own words. Like that seems to be the plan, is just take things that she said on Dateline, things that she said on 2020, things that she said on the documentary and all this stuff. And, I hit him, which she's not going to take. If she doesn't take the stand, then she can't deny that she said, I hit him or anything like that. So, I mean, that's tough to work with, right? As a prosecutor, how do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, because what you're trying to do is, she did the documentary and she did other interviews. Would I have had advised my client to do that on the defense side? Probably not. But I don't think what she said was really all that damning anyways. I've watched the documentary a couple times. And she made some comments, right? Some things that you might not want her to say, but essentially it's a controlled testimony, right? If they're going to use it, and that's the gamble that they took. I just think if you're trying to only use her words that really are kind of arguable, did she say I hit him, or was it did I hit him, or is she, more of a panicky type state when she said it, which doesn't really give a lot of credibility that that's a confession on her end. It might just be more she's saying it in the moment because she's realizing her boyfriend is dead now, which is shocking for anybody to have to go through. That's kind of selective. It's selecting what piece of evidence you want to use and highlight, and then ignoring the actual forensic thing that's pretty objective that shows she didn't do it or couldn't have done it.
Yeah, right. So what would you have done as a prosecutor if you got those Proctor texts dumped in your lap by the FBI? Like, how do you prep a wit? Like, what would you have done as a prosecutor?
You got it. One, that would have been a big reason why I wouldn't have moved forward with the case, right? Because it just looks bad. It does. Those texts don't mean Karen couldn't have done it, right? It just looks really bad when your lead investigator is saying that stuff. And we'll get it from time to time where law enforcement will use personal cell phones or back channel on like the call logs and say some things they shouldn't say. And it looks bad. You got to confront it head on. You just got to lead right into it and say like, hey, look, you said something really stupid. We're gonna have to die on the sword for this one and move on.
That appears to be what that appears to be what they did.
Yeah, he just looked he tried to get too defensive with it. When you look at his testimony, he tried to get way too cutesy and defensive, and it ended up backfiring. And that's why he got.
What do you mean? What do you mean too defensive? Like trying to explain his way out of it?
Yeah, like he tried to make it seem like it was nothing out of the ordinary, or like when he said, I made some comments, but it wasn't as bad as it seemed. He kind of made it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was, and then
it's like unprofessional. Shouldn't have said it.
I can't remember what attorney asked. He's like, "Do you do that on all of your cases where you look for nudes in there?" And he goes, "Well, I don't do that in all the cases, but you did it here." And it's like, it looks stupid. You look really dumb when you have to say that, and that's where a prosecutor's got to protect their witnesses and get that bad information out. You don't run from bad evidence. You just don't. You have to confront it head on.
And this time around, he's been fired. So that's even more. Like if you're Hank Brennan and you're the prosecutor in this, do you even put Michael Proctor on the stand?
Kind of have to, right?
Yeah, he's your lead investigator.
Yeah. You don't have a choice, right? The other witnesses are going to be able to talk about the fact that he was, and they have personal knowledge that he was fired, and they're going to be able to talk about some of the things that he may have sent because they're going to have knowledge of it. But even if they don't put him on, I'd call him as a witness if I was a defense attorney. Put him up there and make him say it again.
A couple of things about that. Number one, I think there is kind of a way around it. A way around it would be to just throw Michael Proctor under the bus, say, yeah, he's a piece of shit. That's why he's fired. However, the investigation itself was solid. There's evidence Kara Reed did this. Yeah, he's kind of garbage. We're glad he's gone. But the fact of the matter is Kara Reed shouldn't get away with murder because Michael Proctor is an unethical, immoral person, right? So there is that way. It's not the best way around it, but to me, it seems like something that they might do. I mean, what do you think of that?
It's the only way, right? And it's the way they should have done it in the first trial. And that's what I'm saying is that they should have taken it straight on with the text and kind of just allow them to die by the sword on the stand on direct, but then reconfirm, like you said, hey, but the rest of the investigation is fine, and that would have been the most appropriate way to do it, but they didn't, right? They tried to just basically allow the defense to bring it up, and then they played defensive on trying to make him not look so crappy, but it didn't work.
In Indiana, in Massachusetts, as you've seen, the district attorney's offices almost have their own private detective forces under their employ. Like Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan and all these people basically work out of the DA's office in Canton. And because of that, like they basically work for the DA. Like they're his marching, they do the work for him. So is that what it's like in Indiana? Like if you had like with the state police like this, like do they essentially work for the DA's office?
No. So we'll have investigators that might do things for us in terms of serving witnesses or getting witnesses from point A to point B. But no, all law enforcement agencies are all separate from us.
Okay. And have you ever dealt with a bad cop like this before? That's just tough to put on the stand, or
not to this level? No. I mean, I've dealt with officers that have done really dumb things. I mean, law enforcement officers are human beings, to begin with. And so there's really great ones, and the vast majority are really great. And then you got some really bad ones. And usually what ends up happening is the bad ones are like this, and they do really dumb things that, it's unfortunately what it is. And I never had somebody to this level. I've had some officers that have done some foolish things, questionable things for sure, but never to this level, ever.
I think the problem with this too is that, Michael Proctor is a bad cop. We all agree on that, but he was enabled. Like there's this unwritten code in like Brian Tully, Yuri Buchanan, they're all on those group text messages. And there was this culture where talking like that was okay. And you're not going to be reported to your bosses. And when they find out, and Michael Proctor what's been lost in all this is that Michael Proctor is good friends with the people, the witnesses in the case. And he didn't tell anyone that. And like when the bosses found this out, that should have been like, dude, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you step off this case? Instead, they've all rallied behind him. It's like their immediate instinct is to back each other up. Is that a culture you see a lot?
It can happen, right? It's on the prosecutor side. Sometimes we do have to support our law enforcement officers and that make foolish decisions. Now, on a case like this, is there sometimes groups that will do that within agencies? Sure. I'm sure there is. I've never seen it to this level. But you're right. His involvement with definitely having a conflict of interest called into question everything. I mean, one of the biggest things was how 2 weeks later he finds all of these taillight fragments when he goes back to the house that weren't found when the state police, first searched, hours after John O'Keefe's body. So that's something that should have, definitely calls into question everything, especially when he has these connections to the people that are inside the house that also happen to be law enforcement officers. So it just looks shady.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people in the chat are asking what you thought of Auntie Bev. Have you dealt with a judge? What are your thoughts about her? And have you ever dealt with a judge like this?
I've dealt with judges that have been great and judges that have had some power trips on the bench, right? And it's part of it. Judges are humans just like all of us, and sometimes they have their good days and their bad days. I thought some of the things that she sustained objections to were a little strange. I don't know law in Massachusetts or how things work in terms of how she should have read certain instructions for mistrials for hung juries and stuff. I would have thought she would have done a better job of that in terms of allowing the attorneys to ask questions, which I know goes to what Karen's current appellate attorneys are doing with the double jeopardy argument. I don't know how successful that will be in the Supreme Court, but I think it's certainly something that's very interesting because that should have been done. And I think that would have been dispositive of the whole thing. But also if I'm the DA's office, I would have looked at that, the fact that it seems by all likelihood that the jury that we had for the first bite, which is usually the best, didn't want to convict her on those big counts. Maybe we shouldn't go forward with it.
Yeah.
Your evidence is not going to get any better. And so that's what you see what the current prosecutor is doing is he's basically on the defensive, trying to keep out, I think you mentioned it earlier, all of the good evidence that Karen Reed's attorneys brought forward because he doesn't want it. No shit. He doesn't want the good evidence for her coming in, right? He doesn't want the dog bite coming in. He doesn't want the pictures of the arm coming in. He doesn't want all that evidence that shows that she didn't do it, that causes reasonable doubt to come in because, well, that means his case is a turd.
Would you try to prevent that evidence from coming in as a prosecutor? I mean, how can you say with a straight face that you're looking for truth and justice, which is what prosecutors are supposed to do? How can you honestly say that while trying to prevent experts from testifying, while trying to prevent evidence from being shown in court?
You don't, and I wouldn't. If it was a legitimate, credible expert that was coming in, and it was backed by what our scientific evidence, basically we have a threshold that has to be reached. If it's coming in, it's going to come in, right? And that's just part of it. You have to allow that argument, and you have to say why it doesn't apply. And it's happened before in cases of mine, and you then get a rebuttal expert that says otherwise.
Have you ever been invited on CourtTV?
No, but it's.
Would you go if you were because their experts are so bad. They have a lot of lawyers on there. I don't know where they find some of these lawyers, but they never have anyone like you on.
Hey, I would love to. It's funny because I was talking with my girlfriend on this ahead of time that I told you we both love this. And I told her my dream is to take over for Dan Abrams. So I always say I'm one step closer to knocking him off. So
Yeah.
I would love to get paid to talk about this because it's, this is what I get to do for a living. It's fun.
How long you been a prosecutor?
I have been with Johnson County for 3.5 years now. I was with Marion County for 5, and then criminal defense for 6.
So you went from criminal defense into prosecuting?
Yeah, there's some personal reasons to go back into it, but for the most part, it was just that being a prosecutor is a fun job.
Isn't that a salary reduction? I mean, don't you make more in defense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was, long and short of it was I got full custody of my son at the time. And it was really hard for me to do the long hours and the work weeks as criminal defense. And so I got very lucky with my position where I get a lot of autonomy and flexibility. And, so I got to be there as a parent.
Well, much respect for that. Some people live to work and some people, work to live. But it's like family first. Totally get that,
Yeah.
So that's very respectable. Why don't there's a million people in the chat, I'm sure, that would love to have questions. I'm going to open it up if people have questions. Everybody keeps asking if you're Polish or how do you pronounce your name?
Yeah. So you got it right. It's Kubacki.
Okay. It's Kubacki. All right.
Yeah. It is Polish. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Do you guys in the chat, I haven't been able to read all the questions. Feel free to just fire away and I'll read some of them up here. If you guys have any, let's see. You have a lot of fans in the chat. Let's put it that way. All right. Let's see. Ask about the FBI investigation. You're gonna have to be. What do you think of the FBI investigation? Have you ever prosecuted a case in which your very prosecution has been under investigation?
No, I haven't. Right, and that again should be very telling as to why, as a prosecutor, you start to question: is this the right thing to do? I've had cases before where I've had probable cause to file charges, and then as I get evidence coming in, which oftentimes is the bigger forensic digital types of things, you realize, hey, this isn't going to work forward. This just isn't going to hold up. And you go to a lesser. And so that's kind of what you have to do.
What do you think of Michael Morrissey's hostage video? Have you seen that? The video where he said that he vouched for all the witnesses and he's like, this needs to stop. Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, I should. So there is in August of 2023, District Attorney Michael Morrissey issued a, let me pull it up right now. The actual Michael Morrissey statement, August 25th. There it is. All right. Let me read. Actually, I'll just bring it up right here. I'll just play part of it for you. All right. Hold on.
Is Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless. It should be an outrage to any decent person, and it needs to stop. Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night he died. Location data from his phone, recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital, shows that his phone did not enter that home. 11 people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one. Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home. But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all. Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative. Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in the case. To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong. They are witnesses doing what our justice system asks of them. The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight. She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma, not an animal attack. A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed with telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows have done nothing in this matter but come forward and bear witness. We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury. And the internet does not know all the facts. Conspiracy theories are not evidence. The idea that multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt.
A desperate attempt.
Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road.
Oh, great guy.
Was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident.
Oh.
Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road. In addition to having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested, Proctor would have no motive to do so.
Oh.
Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation.
What?
And had no conflict. And he had no reason to step out of the investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie.
A lot, yes, because I said so.
It should be seen for what it is and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others. What is happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case, is wrong. It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial. It needs to stop now.
Needs to stop.
I'm releasing this court statement rather than holding a news conference because my remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court. But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
Yeah, he's not holding a press conference because then people can ask follow-up questions. That too. So you've never seen that before?
Not to that extent, right?
What are your immediate thoughts? What's your first reaction seeing that for the first time?
He could have done that in a much shorter way of just saying, don't, harass witnesses until all the evidence is brought forward, instead of vouching for them and saying that they're not being suspects of anything, because they could be, right? And now you just made yourself look even more foolish. You make a lot of really bold, credible claims, like saying Trooper Proctor or former Trooper Proctor wasn't, any ties to any of the people involved, and we found out that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to do that stuff as a prosecutor. And, we actually get training on that about the appropriate press etiquette, what we should say, what we shouldn't say. And that's basically, look, the press is giving a probable cause affidavit, stick to that. It's all there, guys. Read it over. I'm just telling you, we're looking for justice. We want to find the truth. That's what we're going to do. We're moving forward, and please don't intimidate witnesses or harass them. Smaller community. I'm not sure what the size of the community is, but it seems like it's smaller where people know everybody, or at least small enough that everybody knows everybody. Just respect your neighbors until the truth comes out, at trial. Let that be the forum for it. Could be a lot shorter. Instead, he made himself locked into everything.
Like nobody came. He didn't come in the house. Colin Albert's a great kid. He would never do anything wrong. None of these people did anything wrong. And the key line that got him in trouble there was that this was a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. So he's saying there in an extrajudicial statement that Karen Reed's third-party culprit theory is bullshit, which is not appropriate for him to say, before trial, that the DA is coming out and saying this. And I'm glad you picked up on the Proctor line, because we go back, he wouldn't say that now. He would no longer say that, because that was proven to be untrue. That was proven to be a lie. A month after this hostage video, as we call this, was aired on September 25th, 2023, I got a message on Twitter from somebody. I got a picture, and it's a picture of what appears to be Jennifer McCabe's car parked at the Proctor household. A month after this guy went on and said that there is no, they don't know each other. There's no personal relationship between Proctor and any of the witnesses. And so if Jennifer McCabe's car was at the Proctor house, that proves otherwise. So I know what her car looks like. I know that's her car. I could have just written the story right there. Instead, I asked, I made a post on Facebook and Twitter saying, can someone run a license plate for me? I do this all the time. PIs, tow truck drivers, a lot of people can run a license plate and just tell you who the owner of the car is. And so I get a few volunteers, one of whom is a police dispatcher, and she runs the plate for me, not knowing what this is even about. I just give her a plate and she runs it, and she's like, that's the McCabe's car. Boom, I got him. Now I've proven that the McCabe's are, Jennifer McCabe is at the Proctor household as I write this. She is there. Michael Morrissey lied. For that, I was indicted on conspiracy to commit witness intimidation because I conspired with the dispatcher to harass Jennifer McCabe by telling the truth. So as a prosecutor, I mean, I think I know the answer to this one. Would you prosecute me?
Probably not. No, probably not. And the other thing too is, I know the facts as I can actually find them on there. So assuming everything you're telling me is how it went down, which I have no reason really to doubt, right? Then no, it makes sense. At that point, it seems more like vindictive prosecution. But prosecutors are going to make those decisions, and unfortunately, it seems on this particular set of circumstances with this case and all the things associated with, especially that involve you, they're really kind of going down the road of things that shouldn't be prosecuted. And that's my personal opinion on it. It's coming from my experience in my career, but it just seems screwy. And that's kind of been the best word I can use to describe this to anybody, is it just feels weird and it feels wrong.
What is as a prosecutor, I'm sure you've prosecuted some people for witness intimidation, correct? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I've prosecuted, I've certainly threatened it before too, if I have legitimate cases for it. Yeah.
Okay. And what in your mind as a prosecutor is witness intimidation? How would you describe it?
If the ones I've charged have been pretty blatant. So it's going to be ones where like they're, quite literally threatening somebody to not testify, or trying to scare them to testify, or to talk to me or cooperate with me with physical violence, threats of physical violence.
The threats of physical violence have to be. Okay.
Yeah. So, things that fit. So Indiana, we have our definition of intimidation. It usually is going to be that threat of physical force or putting somebody in fear. So there is that fear-based element to it. If I have that, I will do it. If I don't have it, but I'm close, I might keep that in my back pocket for negotiations, but I'm certainly not going, on TV and threatening it.
Right. So that, I guess in Massachusetts, we're the only state in the country whose witness intimidation statute specifically has a provision that if you cause not only threats to we all agree threats of physical harm, you can't tell a witness, I'm going to break your kneecaps if you don't say so and so, right? We're all for that. But in Massachusetts, it's not only physical harm, it's emotional injury. So Jennifer McCabe and all these people are saying, well, I'm sad. He's making me upset. I had to drop college. Albert said I had to drop out of college because I'm being picked on so much. And I've never physically threatened any of these people, nor would I. And they know that. And so in Massachusetts, you get to just kind of exploit this whole emotional harm thing, which doesn't exist in states like Indiana or any other state.
And suddenly they're very, sensitive people, I'm sure.
Yes.
When it came to it. So
another question people are asking about a lot is the inverted video. As a prosecutor, what did you think of that?
I remember watching that when it happened, and just the words out of my mouth were, holy shit. Like, how do you not notice that? How do you not see it? I could see if at first blush you don't notice right away, but I mean, my personal style is like I told you, I'm involved since day one. So, when we just had a shooting that happened earlier this week, I get woken up at, almost 4 a.m, and I'm working that case all the way through. And I do that because I want to know everything that goes on in that case, so that as things are going, one, I've got a good relationship with my law enforcement officers, that we're going to make sure it's done constitutionally, and it's done the way so that when I'm presenting it, I don't have screwy things. If I didn't know a camera was for some reason mirroring backwards, or there was weird discrepancies like that, yeah, you may not notice it. I don't know the circumstances of when they noticed or how they noticed it, but to have that be presented at trial, it almost seemed like, what was his name, Lally? Was that his last name?
Lally, yeah.
Yeah. That's just like a pants around your ankles type moment, where you have to feel just completely dumb that gets brought up by the defense at trial, that, oh, hey, by the way, this is backwards, and the tail light that we're actually looking at is on the opposite side, and there appears to be somebody on that other side. Who happens to be
his name
Michael Proctor.
Proctor. I know. Oh,
2 weeks later, he finds 46 pieces of a tail light at the house when he goes back there.
while saying that, all of this shit you're hearing about cover up is conspiracy talk. It's all crazy talk. And then at trial, in front of the jury themselves, they introduce an inverted video, which, critical to the case, makes left look like right and right look like left, which makes all the difference in this case because the right taillight is the broken taillight in question.
Yes. That's part of the thing where I'm saying is that I rarely buy conspiracy theories or cover-ups.
Me
just
too.
Because I'm thinking like, oh, that's what it is. But there's so much of that in this case where it is so ridiculous that you have those things. You talked about Colin Albert. I think he had, abrasions on his knuckles, and it's not just, on his hand or they're all the way across. That looks like he's throwing punches.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another example of things that don't make sense at all.
Well, he had an explanation for that.
Oh,
he said that he fell and braced his fall with his knuckles on the ice. Again, I have to ask, as a prosecutor, you're prepping your witness for this, and you're like, look at kid, they're going to ask you about the knuckles. What's your response to that? And then Colin Albert tells you, oh, I'm going to say this. What is your response to that?
Much like with Jennifer McCabe, it's you got to do better than that. It doesn't look like a scrape. We get ice here in Indiana. We get a lot of it, probably not as much as you guys do, but we get enough where I've fallen, and I've never had that perfect of a scrape across my entire, fist. If I ask him what's his dominant hand, is he right-handed or left-handed, and it happens to be the hand that has all of those markings on it, I'm like, yeah, you definitely have to do better. If that's your throwing hand, then no one's going to believe it.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm glad. How did you first find out about this case in Indiana? During the trial?
It was random that it just popped up on Twitter. And it was, I think a lot of the stuff was, I just kept reading it, being like, oh, this is interesting. And then your stuff kept popping up. And then the other side stuff kept popping up. And so I was reading the people that wanted to lock her up. I was reading people that were supporting, your side of it, that was freeing her. So I started watching it, just being like, out of curiosity. I put it in the background of my office. And the more I watched it, I was like, good God, this is ridiculous. It makes no sense.
I wonder how many prosecutors across the country. That's why I was so happy to have you on, hearing from a prosecutor. I do wonder how many are believing this, because the hardest thing I think to get over here is, like you said, the conspiracy angle. Like conspiracy theory has a bad name to it because of people like Alex Jones and others. And it's just like, and I understand when people say that. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I've never taken on a case like this before where I accuse all these entities of being corrupt and covering this up. And so that seems to be the biggest hill that the defense has to overcome, is getting a jury to believe that the institutions they trusted to protect and serve and get justice aren't ethical.
Yeah. And I think they did a good job at the first trial. And I think they might, if I was them, they're going to hammer it down a little bit better this time, of saying like, look, we have no burden. We don't have to prove to you anything. I don't have to put forward any affirmative defense here. I'm going above and beyond on this case for my client and showing you this reasonable theory of another person or persons having done it. But guess what? If you don't believe that what I put forward is the truth, that somebody else did it, but you do believe that there are some questions into what the prosecutor presented and they're reasonable, that's called reasonable doubt. And I think that's what's often lost on people, especially on the side that wants her to be convicted, is that she doesn't have to prove who did it, right? She doesn't have to prove that at all. She doesn't have to prove she didn't do it. She doesn't have to do anything. Prosecutor's got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt all of the elements of what she's been charged with. And if you give those reasonable alternative theories and you buy them just enough, or you question the fact that there wasn't certain DNA testing done, you question the fact of how Proctor did everything with the taillights and how he was involved, you question the fact that the first responding officers, used solo cups. You question some of the things that you would expect to see in a case like this in terms of where his body was and how he would have been hit. It doesn't seem to line up with how biomechanics would have worked in something like that, because he's a pretty big guy. I think he was like 6'2". So you wouldn't really expect him to kind of move this way, where he kind of goes sideways almost in a spinning motion.
Pirouette. A pirouette. Yeah.
I question also too the fact that there wasn't a lot of blood. And with that cold temperature, you can have restricting of the blood, and that can happen, but you would expect to see a little bit more blood or pooling of the blood, depending on what was hit. So those are all the things that you start to question about, hey, how did that actually happen? When I was getting prepared for this, I've got all these papers in front of me, and they have all these different things that I'm looking at that are questionable, and I'm just remembering all of them.
Let's hear some. What else you got written down?
Well, we're going through all these things where, the plow truck driver didn't see it. You have Julie Nagel, who comes forward, 2 months after they interview everyone, and suddenly says,
10 months.
Oh, 10 months, even worse.
10 months.
And says, oh, no, I did see a body that time, but nobody else saw a body that night, right?
She's not a body, a shadowy figure. And now it's a black blob.
Yeah. And I think her brother or some relative who dropped her off said, no, I didn't see anything that night either. The plow truck driver didn't see anything. You've got Karen's camera at John's house showing that she bumped the car, which would explain why the taillight was broken the way it was in a reasonable fashion, right? Those are all individual pieces of reasonable doubt. So you don't have to, a jury doesn't have to believe that those things all happened in terms of some cover up by law enforcement or other partners. They don't believe any of that. If they think, though, that the prosecutor failed to meet their burden, and those are reasonable theories, that it could have been an animal that did that, it could have been something else that did, or it wasn't Karen, or that we think, hey, maybe something else happened to it and it's reasonable, that's called reasonable doubt, and that's the end of the case. I think some people lose sight of the fact that that's really what happens. And we have this divide now where you have people that are convinced she did it for whatever reason. And look, they're entitled to their opinion. My personal opinion is they're wrong. And then you have the other side that says she didn't do it. Okay. On this side, the Free Karen Reed is really trying to prove who did it, which is great, right? You want justice for John O'Keefe, but it's remembering that, yeah. And that's, I think, what the defense, if I was them, is going to hone in on a little bit more instead of just focusing on it was these other people or it could have been these people, is, yeah, we'll give you some good information about these other people. But let's remember, at minimum, there's a lot of reasonable doubt here at every level. Every single piece of the prosecutor's evidence has reasonable doubt attached to it.
It seemed like the defense was so certain that, I mean, of course she's going to be acquitted. They kind of but let's go the extra mile and actually do something we don't need to do. And that's tell you exactly how John died, which in hindsight, wasn't necessary. Like the burden is on the prosecution, not on the defense to prove that. And I think that backfired a little bit. Now there's this one clip here, about the white Jeep that was parked in front of the house. This is a 55-second clip. I just wanted you to listen between the differences between, these are all witnesses for the government. They all are on the government side. Listen to them, what they say about this white Jeep.
And after the end of the driveway, there was a Jeep. And after the Jeep was the SUV, the dark SUV.
You did not see, for instance, a Jeep with a snowplow on the front parked in between you.
I did not.
And in fact,
You indicated that Jeep was just a little bit in front of the mailbox, meaning about there, correct?
Yes.
You certainly did not see a full-sized Jeep Wrangler outfitted with a snowplow between the SUV and Ricky's truck.
I did not.
I want to ask a question about Mr. Higgins. You said on Friday that you saw his vehicle when you got to the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you said that it was pulled up a little bit in front of the mailbox, correct?
Yes.
Did any car pull in between Ricky's truck and the SUV when you were sitting behind the SUV?
No, sir.
You didn't see a Jeep?
No, sir.
With a big old snowplow on the front of it?
No, sir, I did not.
That car was never between your car and the SUV, was it?
I never saw any other vehicle in between us. And then after the end of the driveway, there was a Jeep. And after the Jeep was the SUV, the dark SUV.
What do you do with that? as a prosecutor, you have, those are all Commonwealth witnesses. Half of them are saying there's no white Jeep there. Half of them are saying there was. What do you do with that? It's crazy.
Well, that actually happens more than you think, is in terms of people. And usually what you do is we call voir dire, it's jury selection. And you start to talk about how people have different memories about certain things. It wasn't, they didn't go into that party that night thinking somebody was going to wind up on that front lawn dead, right? So they're trying to remember the best they can. So there are going to be discrepancies in people's individual memories in terms of where something was, little things. Arguably, could that be considered a bigger thing? Sure, yeah. But things like that actually happen more often than not. And you try to pick jurors that understand that not everyone's memory is going to be identical. And that may not be the most damning thing in the world if other pieces of objective evidence show that what your theory of the case is actually works, right? So the issue with that evidence is you still have the biomechanic and accident reconstruction issue where there's really no way from a slow rolling reverse that John O'Keefe is going to spin all the way, or as you said, pirouette all the way down to where he was found, right? If there was a car there or not, right? It wasn't going to happen. That's where if you don't have that evidence in a situation like that, it kind of just sucks.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. Well, anyway, I think I've got a lot of your time. I really appreciate you coming on here and hearing your perspective.
Yeah.
And I'd love to, as the trial progresses, perhaps maybe have you on from time to time just to talk about the case stuff, because we're about to get nonstop entertainment starting on Tuesday. Like, it is going to be clear my schedule for the next 3 months. It's going to be nonstop entertainment. So I'd love to have you on as an attorney just to hear your thoughts for whatever you have the chance.
Yeah, no, anytime. I'll actually be watching. We've been talking about it because this one's interesting. So I feel like a little invested to see what happens.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Matt. I appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Talk to you later.
Bye.
What a great guest, huh? Cool. I don't have guests very often, but when I do, they're memorable. They're good, and calm down, ladies. I see you out there. We also had Joe Flipperhead reveal himself last night. Similar reaction. So yeah, Joe made his debut on the Auntie Bev program. Auntie Bev is like the latest, like the top interviewer, if you will. His whole format there I dig. When I was a guest of his last week as well, and he's got this whole where he asks you serious questions for a bit, and then he does this whole Tyra Banks thing, which is funny, but also asks you good questions. So it was good stuff. So Joe Flipperhead last night said he would reveal himself or at least show what he looked like if they raise $1,000. For those of you unfamiliar with Joe Flipperhead, he is a Twitter personality who makes excellent videos and mashups of it. He's 1000% free Karen Reed. He's great. He's wicked smart. I'm a big fan. And he did reveal himself last night. And I gotta be honest with you, that wasn't what I was expecting. It was not what I was expecting. I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. Fatter, I guess. I don't know. I'll be honest. He was handsome. I don't know. It's like, I wasn't expecting that. It looks like he's in his 30s. Something. I just wasn't expecting that at all. That came out of nowhere. So yeah. Anyway, so it was a good interview. So go check that out. Give Auntie Deb a sub if you haven't done so already. I'm sure he'll have some hilarious content coming out once the trial starts. You thought he was black because he does the Allen Iverson thing on there. Yeah. You guys all thought Joe was black. He just likes Philly sports. He just likes Philly sports. You can be white and still like black athletes. So there's that. Anyway, yeah. So I really enjoyed having Matt on tonight. Good time Julie Carpenter and Krusty Panties are immediately just starting to dig into that guy's past and be like, whatever's out there, they're gonna find it. And I don't think he gives a shit though. The guy seemed like a straight arrow to me. He seemed like a nice guy, ethical prosecutor, and I liked having him on because he's a prosecutor. I'd like to hear from more prosecutors about this case and their thoughts on it, about whether or not Karen Reed, whether or not what they would do in this situation if they were prosecuting, if they got handed this pile of shit known as the Karen Reed case. Like what do they do in that situation? So, okay. And here I am shiny tonight. I'm not as pink tonight, but I got this thing here that's annoying the fuck out of me. Hold on. Let me see what side that's what if I do this. No, but then it's too well, actually, let me do this. It's a little better. I think that's better. We'll go with that. Cool. All right. Let me see. I especially like the part about his son. I thought that was good. Awesome. Much respect for that. All right. Why don't we read some more turtle chats, shall we? Before we go on to our next segment here. Get out of here, bug. All right. Busted Bagel sends $5 and goes, when are the Julie Nagel t-shirts going to drop? I can't even enjoy a bacon, egg, and cheese anymore without thinking about that piece of shit. She is undeniably a first ballot Hall of Fame cunt. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the we put those shirts up. The shirt I had on the other night about Julie Nagel's a piece of shit. Those get taken down in like 5 seconds. Those get like reported and taken down. So I make them for myself, and I just print myself out one, and that's it. So there's that. Next up, Wisconsin farm gal sends $10. Goes, hey doctor, if your case is dismissed, can you stay in the courtroom for the McAlberts, or do you have to file a new motion? That's a great question. I would assume that's done. It would probably require some sort of paperwork in the form of a motion, but it would seem that would be rubber stamped. And wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be a nice little surprise if the charges were dropped? Which, dude, talk about spiking a fucking football, man. Oh, I get hard just thinking about it, man. Ooh, I will have the biggest fucking victory tour if and when that happens. The same if I'm much more nervous about Karen Reed. I'm fucking fine. Don't worry about me. As long as I don't get violated for bail, I'm never going to be convicted. The charges are either going to be dropped or I'm going to be acquitted, whatever. I'll be fucking fine. The charges against me are a goddamn joke. No one takes it seriously. They're not investing anything into my prosecution at all. They have old man Cosgrove on it. Like they've done nothing since they fucking indicted me. Nothing. Whereas with Karen, they're very committed. They are putting microscopic tail lights and shit and swiping their ass with swabs and sending it to the DNA lab and all sorts of shit. So I am when Karen's acquitted, that is going to be the most elating feeling ever. Like better than my charges. I mean, I'll feel very happy when my charges go away, but I'll honestly feel better when Karen's acquitted. Like that will be the most. Karen is going to be acquitted. Exactly. That will be the most. I can't even tell you the sense of joy that I'm going to experience when that happens. It is going to be the greatest feeling ever. And it's going to happen. And not only because I'm going to be so happy for her and I was right and all of this shit, but we get to rub it in their faces. And that is going to be fucking awesome. And then it's done. And then they're not witnesses anymore to shit. And then they can't hide behind this witness intimidation statute bullshit about their feelings being hurt and blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Yeah. And if you guys haven't seen my Turtle Club on the Garrett Wing thing, we watched his whole interview with Melanie Little again on Turtle Club Sex Cult this week. You just go, it's so good, man. He is going to be fucking awesome. It doesn't get any better. They're trying to discredit him and they can't do it. They can't find shit on him. He's too fucking good. Too good. You thought I did one of Kate's face peels from Twitter. Stop it. Yeah, Krusty claims that she did a face peel. I mean, we've all seen her face. It's like, bro, it looks like some fucking street in Sarajevo that just got bombed by NATO. That's what her fucking face looks like. There's craters everywhere. looks like it's on fire. Like, that's what her fucking face looks like. Like, no joke. Like, I've seen it in real life. It's fucking grotesque for a woman. You have to remind yourself, she's like 37, I think, something like that. You're like, bro, that is a hard 37. Dude, your face should not look like that at 37. Like, how the fuck? It's like inverted acne or some shit. Like, usually, acne kind of comes out, or acne's like inverted in her face. And now all of a sudden she's got like crystal clear skin, like, bro. And she's like, this not a filter. It's like, dude, we've seen your face. It's not good. She's a little obsessed with me, I think. A little bit. Like, everything I do. Like, I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being that obsessed with somebody I've never slept with. I mean, that's fake victim. Okay, fine. She missed it. I get it. Okay. She had a tough time getting over that. But Krusty, she never got a piece of that sweet potato pie. Like, what's her problem? And Kim Fair, like, ew, gross. Like, why is she so obsessed with me? We know Gaffney's definitely gay for me. There's no doubt about that. That man has my nudes everywhere, like, ready to rock. Watches everything I say, fucking obsessed with me. Obsessed. But anyway, that's that. Okay, next up. Let's see. Beth sends $25 and says, I will laugh out loud when Karen is acquitted and slimy Spanky realizes that Lally beat him. That's another good point. Both are scumbags. Karma's a bitch boy. That is going to be funny when it's like, yo, you did objectively worse than Lally. Like, Lally got a tie. You couldn't even get that. You just lost. And it was a shutout, because to get not guilty, it has to be 12-0. So, yeah. Next up, Sarah sends $10, goes, thanks for bringing good journalism back. Any opinion on the weird drama with boots on the ground? You obviously could tell me to fuck off. It's none of my business because I find you terrifying. Well, first of all, you shouldn't find me terrifying. I don't bite Sarah. But to answer your question, do I have any opinion on the weird drama with boots on the ground? Resoundingly, no. I have no opinion on it whatsoever. I don't care. I love all those people. I love Tom. I love them all. Okay? That's it. If they have issues amongst themselves, so be it. But I like all those people. So there's that. That's my thoughts on that. Next up. Okay. Kelly sends $5 and goes, just because I needed this show tonight, I had a rough day. Thanks. Needed a good Turtleboy rant. Well, you got one, Kelly. And thank you for being here. Emily Morgan sends $10 and just goes, pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Next up. Jessica sends $10, goes, I'm worried Brennan won't call Jen and instead try to get everything in through Kerry to avoid her text. He has to call Jen. Jen is the star witness. Like, she's the star witness. She's the one that claims Karen said, I hit him. She was there when Karen went out looking for John. She invited John over to the house that night. She's the one. There's just everything, dude. Like, she is the star witness for, like, she's the more important witness than Michael Proctor. They're stuck with Jen McCabe. They are stuck with her. So there's that. Rosa Lyle sends $10, goes, how about a raffle for a double date with you, Joe Flipperhead, Meredith, and Olivia, or just a date with Joe Flipperhead? He is very, very hot. Is him and Olivia a thing? I don't even know. I mean, Olivia's a pretty girl too. I mean, I'm not trying to be a massage therapist or anything like that. She's very attractive. And so I don't think I think they're like an internet thing. I don't think they're an actual boots on the ground relationship. I think they're like a Twitter relationship. I think that's what they have. So thank you for that one. Next up, Brian sends $10 and goes, after you and Karen are acquitted, you should really consider looking into the suspicious death of former San Diego police officer Sierra Estrada. It's Sandra Birchmore 2.0 with rumors of a cover-up by her fellow officers. The corruption never ends. Never heard of it, but when this is over, I will have more time, certainly, to, look into other shit. I actually got a letter today, in the mail from Shirley, and there's a jail in Shirley. The worst offenders in the state are in the Shirley Max. That's where Aaron Hernandez was. And so I get this letter, and it's some guy named Alex Skesny, Scesny. And he says, I am serving natural life in Shirley. And I've heard that you are a victim of state police cover-ups. So am I, he says. So am I. I've been framed for murder, and I want you to look into my case. He didn't really explain how he's been framed or anything like that. I Googled the guy. I'll Google him right now. I'll Google. Alex Skesny is his name. So the first thing that comes up is the Maine South Woodsman. So he's suspected of being a serial killer. But he was never charged with it, killing some prostitutes. He is the Maine South Woodsman is an unidentified serial killer who murdered between 3 and 5 prostitutes in Worcester between 2002 and 2007. He picked up most of it. So Maine South is this really bad neighborhood of Worcester. And it's where all the hookers are. And, there's this pond down there. It's called Dead Hooker Pond. I think one of them was found in there. And the prime suspect in the murders, Alex Skesny, was identified in 2008 due to the fact that he had a history of sexual abuse and was suspected in the murder of a sex worker. Although convicted of the aforementioned offenses, he's never been charged in the Maine South Woodsman case, which remain unsolved. Okay. So Skesny, the DA's office in 2008 announced they had a prime suspect, Skesny, a resident of Berlin, Massachusetts, who had recently been charged with the rape of a female friend in West Boylston and the cold case murder of the 39-year-old prostitute, Teresa Stone. So this guy got charged with rape in 2008. And they got his DNA, and then his DNA was a hit for a woman named Teresa Stone, who was murdered 12 years prior to that in 1996. She was also a prostitute. She had been beaten and strangled in Fitchburg in 1996. Since 1996, Skesny displayed aggressive behavior towards women and had been arrested on several occasions for assault and rape. In 96, he was arrested on charges of beating a prostitute, rape, and attempted strangulation of a woman, and sexually assaulting a young girl. However, some of the charges were later dropped after the victims failed to appear in court, and the rest were reduced. In 2002, he was indicted on the rape of a girl in Harwich, which is on the Cape, whom he attempted to strangle with a necktie. He was eventually arrested and almost went to trial, but because his victim died, the charges against him were dropped and the criminal case was closed. Okay. Skesny's family owned a farm in Marlborough, which was coincidentally near the school where the remains of 3 of the prostitutes were found. Okay. So when interrogated about the Woodsman murders, Skesny categorically refused to cooperate and denied guilt. In the spring of 2012, he was convicted for the murder of Stone and sentenced to life imprisonment, but was acquitted of the rape. He attempted to have his conviction overturned, but he did not succeed. As of March 2025, he has not been charged with any of the other murders, although he remains a suspect. So, again, I didn't know anything about this guy, but I got a letter in the mail from him today. He says he's innocent and I need to free him. But again, I can't. I like facts. I'm not seeing many here. So, Mr. Skesny, but it's nice to have a prison pen pal at least. I like how that's word on the street in jail, I guess, is out. Word in Shirley Max is out. Like, this is, I wonder if I'm going to be getting more letters, because as a jail guy myself who's been to jail, I can tell you that you have nothing but time on your hands there. And so writing letters is not a big deal. And so, you know, believe me, I'm not falling for it. I'm not stupid at all. Like, I don't just take up people because they tell me they're innocent. Like, Karen Reed had amazing amounts of evidence pointing to her innocence. So Shirley is medium security. Well, there's a medium security and a max. Oh, the max, it's right on the Lancaster Shirley line, the two jails. One of them's in Shirley, one of them's in Lancaster, but we call them both Shirley. The Shirley Max and Shirley Medium. And, you know, Shirley Medium is for just a lot of the guys that are in Shirley Max. They get older. They're not as dangerous anymore. They send them to Shirley Medium. I went down another rabbit hole last night just, of other cases in Norfolk County. I went down the Sacco and Vanzetti rabbit hole last night. All right, we trust you. Conquered his max. Yeah. But anyway, he sent me that letter. I don't think I'm going to be taking up his cause, but I just thought I'd let you know that. But let me see. I went down to Sacco and Vanzetti. Let's see. And just looking at some of the pictures of this. And you're like, man, look at, like, can you guys see that? This is the scene outside the courthouse. Make it bigger. Yeah, this is in 1927. Reporters and others wait outside Norfolk Superior Courthouse in Dedham during a plea. I mean, this is just crazy. Looking at this shit, looking at this picture, and you're like, dude, I've spent so much time there. And look, this is 100 years ago. First of all, these guys are in the buffer zone. I'd like to point out that Sacco and Vanzetti were accused of murdering and robbing a paymaster in Braintree. And they might have done it. We don't know. What we do know is that they were treated unfairly in their trial, and there was a lot of bias towards Italian immigrants and anarchists. They were anarchists. There was in 1919, there was a bunch of bombings that happened in the United States led by anarchists who were upset about, you know, basically there was a lot of immigrants coming over from Eastern Europe who were bringing radical ideas with them. And they tried to kill the Attorney General, A. Mitchell Palmer. And there was just, there was a thirst in this country for cracking down on immigrants from that part of the world, Eastern Europe, including Italy, and anarchists, people who had radical ideas. So when these two were charged in 1921 with two Italian immigrants who are avowed anarchists get charged with killing a paymaster in Braintree, right? The public, there's a thirst to fuck them, you know, fuck them. And that's kind of the way they were treated. And the judge in this Sacco and Vanzetti case is very similar to Auntie Bev. His name was Webster Thayer, little guy. And Webster Thayer, he actually lived in Worcester. And he had some comment where he's like, they ought to fry anyway, even if they're innocent, they ought to fry anyway, something like that. And I had the quote hanging in my classroom, and I forget the exact quote, but he was very biased towards them. They get convicted in 1921. There's worldwide protests. 1927, they are executed. They get the electric chair. In 1932, Judge Webster Thayer's house blew up in Worcester. It's crazy. He lived at the top of right where Haviland Street meets Beachmont. right up there, past Doherty High School, near WPI. And if you drive through that neighborhood in Worcester, you see all the houses there are like Victorian homes built in like the 1800s. They're nice homes. They're cool looking homes. And then there's the plot where Webster Thayer's house was, and it's like clearly a newer house built in like the 60s or 70s. And it's every time I drive by there, I'm like, oh, that's the Webster Thayer house. They blew his ass up, blew his home. He wasn't home, but they kind of proved their point. But anyway, my point here is that those people, the pro Sacco and Vanzetti crowd was arguably very dangerous. Like they blew up, they're anarchists. They believe in no government and they believe the government must be dismantled and whatever. And they literally blew up the judge's house. So they're dangerous, right? Some of these people. I don't see any buffer zone here. I don't see any. Compare the pro Sacco and Vanzetti crowd to the free Karen Reed crowd. But even Webster Thayer, who was a totalitarian jerk-off, even he wouldn't be so much of an authoritarian to ban people from being out in front of the courthouse. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this picture, which is a really cool picture. I mean, I like history. This is crazy. Like 100 years ago, all these motherfuckers are standing outside the courthouse waiting. And there's Sacco and Vanzetti getting marched in, right? In through Dedham. Same shit. Right? And I went down this rabbit hole last night just on Sacco and Vanzetti and just fascinated by because the courthouse is like the same shit. There's this thing outside the Sac. There's a memorial for them in 2017. There they are right there. What's this? Is this the back of the courthouse? I think that's the back of the courthouse where they march their asses in. Oh, and in the court too, they used to have a portable cage. See this cage here? They used to bring a cage into the courthouse. I've seen it. I got to find a picture of it. And they would the defendants used to sit in the cage during court. Which is like totally biasing to the jury, in my opinion. You're sitting in a fucking cage, right? And I think that's why they've gotten rid of that. But like the guys that work there still, they still have that cage downstairs. Oh, here it is. Oh, check this out. Here's the picture. The cage. Look at this. There it is. This is the main courtroom we're looking at right here. Can I zoom in? How crazy is this? I mean, this is the courtroom 100 years ago. It doesn't look that much different than it does now. And right here is the cage where Sacco and Vanzetti and other defendants would sit. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Ingolf Turk is walking around the courtroom, standing up there, and these guys are in a fucking cage. Like, that's crazy talk to me. Crazy. I mean, look at some of these other pictures they got here. Sorry if I'm boring you guys with the history talk, but I'm a history guy myself. I taught it for many years, so this is my jam. I love this shit. And especially because, I mean, I taught the Sacco and Vanzetti trial when I was an 11th grade U.S. history teacher in the curriculum. And here I am, of all the courthouses that in Massachusetts, I regularly go to the Sacco and Vanzetti courthouse. And, but like, if you look at like the Sacco and Vanzetti, let's see, like there were protests all over the fucking world for this shit. When this happened in Paris and New York, it's very similar to what we got going on here. But like, this is when I saw this shit, I'm like, yeah, this is what we need. Fuck the standouts. I'm all about the standout. Like, I wonder, because this was although the protests didn't really start until after they were convicted. This wasn't happening during the trial or before they were tried in 1921. It was afterwards. People were really outraged about the verdict. And as they became closer and closer to execution, that's when it really started picking up all across the world. You know, look at this shit. Sacco and Vanzetti in Trafalgar Square. I saw one that was in like Hyde Park. The Sacco and Vanzetti case. We want justice, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is wild. I mean, this is crazy. Same shit. What's this one? Oh, that's in front of Congress. And here we are, 100 years later, out in front of, we're standing in those same courthouse steps with the goddamn buffer zone because no witnesses are in shock and horror. Shock and horror. So anyway, that's our trip down history. Next up, Marianne sends $10, goes, what happened with Resistance to Silence and Peter Murphy? Don't know. Don't care. Thank you for the $10. Leia sends $10 and goes, can't wait until you get your Facebook accounts back. Stay strong. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm going to get them back. I hope I do. I also don't care if I do. That's my thing. I'll just make a new one. I'm too big to cancel now. So good luck. Gail sends $10. Go, let's talk about the DPW radio transmission at 4 a.m. on January 29th that stated that there was a body on the front lawn of 34 Fairview. Oh, wait, we can't talk about that because they were told not to mention it. No clue what you're talking about, but thanks, Gail. Mary sends $5 and goes, shout out to Garolyn, Lisa, PJ, and of course, the chat rats. Puff, Puff, Pass, Free Karen Reed, and Free Turtleboy. Excellent. Claire sends $20 and goes, Dr. Jesus has a nice ring to it. Ready for Tuesday? Let's fucking go. Free Karen Reed and Free Turtleboy. Awesome. I can't wait for Tuesday either, man. I'm getting excited, man. And I get to be in the courtroom the whole first week. What up with that? I might not enter the lottery the second week. I don't know. Because my daughter is going to a cheering competition in Florida, which, whatever. I don't even want to go there. But is going to a cheering competition with her mother for a week. So I'm going to be home with my son alone, and which is going to severely make it difficult for that week to get to the courthouse. I don't even know if I'm going to enter the lottery, which is fine because I'm going to stream. I'll just stream them. I'll do day streams, whatever. And I've also decided that I am going to do a show every night of the trial. Any night there's a during the trial, if there is court that day, I will be doing a show every single night. Okay. So we are going to increase the coverage, and that would mean Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As long as there's court on those days, we'll have a show every day because I fall too far behind. I remember during the trial last year, like so much shit would happen on one day, especially when we get into McAlbert shit. It's like, whoa, so much shit's happening. And I got to wait for the next night. And then crazy shit happens the next day. And it's like, oh shit, the Monday shit seems like old news at this point. So we just need to do it every day. Thursday will be Sex Cult still. Friday, we cover that on the weekend show. So that's what we're going to do. 5 days a week, 3 regular shows, Sex Cult, and then a weekend show. So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be, because that's what all the law tubers do. I'm kind of a law tuber now, I didn't go to law school, but I am a doctor. And, Peter Tragos and Emily DeBaker, they're all going to cover it every night. So I need to as well. And let's be honest, we all need it. So we all want it. We need it. I need to fill that void for you fine people. All right, next up. This is Joe Flipperhead, sends $25 and says, the Commonwealth is paying a new medical expert to testify since their own ME goes against their case. I know. They are paying Judd the Chud and Man Shannon to testify as reconstruction experts because Trooper Paul is retarded. They are paying Hyde and Whiffen to testify about the Google search that Garino missed. If ARCA is hired guns, what the fuck are these people? Free the doctor. I know. That's why we all love Joe Flipperhead, because he just is like points out the insanity of it all and the bullshit. And like, it's so true. Everything he just said there, that we're paying all these motherfuckers because the government's own witnesses, the people we pay our tax dollars to, aren't sufficiently good enough. So whatever, you know, give it a shot. Give it a shot, Spanky. Bring it on. Bring your best. Karen Reed's ready for it. Next up, Lisa sends $10 and goes, I think Hanky believes the bullshit. You're right. He's smart, but his ego is so involved now that he can't see the forest through the trees. He's taking it personally. He doesn't like Cameron Reed. He's taking it personally. He doesn't like Robert Alessi. He can't hide it either. He cannot hide the fact that this is personal to him. So there's that. Thank you very much. Karenette sends $10 and goes, yesterday I was at Brilla, which is a coffee shop in Holden. The people behind me online said, this is the town Turtleboy lives in. I was so proud to turn around and say, yes, we are so lucky. Thank you for being you. Yes, this is the people say that now. Entering Holden, home of Turtleboy. Yeah. You know, hopefully I am looking to buy a house in the next year. So Holden is my first choice, but you know, if another opportunity, I always look at the same towns on Zillow every day. Once a week, I go on Zillow and I just look what's out there because I'm not going to buy anything anytime soon, but I like to have an idea of the market and what shit costs and whatever. But like, you know, Holden's my first choice, but then Sterling would be my second choice because I got to stay close to the kids and I'd like to stay in the district if possible. After that, it would be like Northern Worcester, right? I'm not living in fucking mean South. I'm not doing any of that shit. Like any Salisbury Street, fucking Forest Street, any of that shit, right? But definitely Holden, Sterling, or Worcester would be top choices. Rutland is cheaper, but it's just fucking, you don't want to live in Rutland. I don't know if any Rutland Turtlers are out there. It's fucking hard to get to. You got to go through Holden to get to anywhere. It's just fucking Rutland Express sucks. Paxton, same shit. You know, we'll see. See, Northborough, like once you start going east of Worcester, that's when you start getting more Boston prices. Like again, Brian Albert's home, this piece of shit behind me, selling for $900,000 fucking dollars is outrageous. This house is a piece of shit on the inside. They did no work to it over 50 years. This house in Holden would cost under $600,000, right? But because it's in Canton, it costs $900,000 because access to Boston and 2 highways go through Canton. And so that's why people want to live there. Whereas people are like, Holden, what the fuck is that? You know? And I'm like, good. Less of you people, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Let's keep the prices down that way. So once you pass anything east of Worcester, is you start getting more Boston prices. Northborough, Shrewsbury. I don't even look in those towns. Don't even look. Westboro, I don't even look. Right? I stick to north of Worcester, and because it's significantly cheaper that way. But anyway, yeah, Boylston, if you could find it. I mean, that's a small fucking town, but yeah. Deerfield, come on. Oh, that's Western Mass, guys. There's a Central Mass and there's a Western Mass. I know all you people in Boston think it's all the same shit. It's not. It's very different. We have way more Walmarts here. Okay. We have way more Home Depots and shit. We're advanced civilization here. But anyway, back to this. Lindsay sends $100 and goes, hey Doc, 2 days till go time, baby. You planning on being in court every day? Still 2 live shows a week once trial starts? I think I answered that question for you, Lindsay, and thanks for the $100. I am excited. I am planning on being in court every day this week. I can't fucking wait for opening statements. I can't wait to be in the courtroom, soaking up history and just watching this all go down. I can't wait. I'm ready to fuck. I don't know about you people. Let's do it. Do it. Let's fucking go. Can't wait. Anyway, back to this. Jules sends $10, goes, Dr. Daddy, you are skibbity Sigma and have so much Riz. Keep slaying the day away. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know. Skibbity Sigma and I have so much Riz. My daughter says Sigma a lot. She's always like, what the Sigma? And I'm like, what does that mean? I try to be hip like her too, because she's hip now. She knows hip words. And I'm like, she's like, oh, that's mad cringe. I tell her sometimes. She goes, it's cringe that you're saying mad cringe, Dad. I don't fucking know, you know. But anyway, I don't know what that means, but it's Riz is short for charisma. Oh, nice, sweet, awesome. All right, cool. Riz also means game. All right, you should have Better O on every night. I can't have Better O on. He's my attorney, and I'm all, that's fine. I can watch him on other channels. Make sure you wear pink on Tuesday. I did get my stylist got me a couple more shirts, so I'm hoping to be looking fresh with them feds watching, because they're still watching. So there's that. All right, next up. Okay, Sweet Sue Plu. I want to address this. Sends $10 and says, do we know who the Commonwealth witnesses are that are refusing to testify, and how can they? Take the fifth. Okay. So I have some thoughts on that, because it's a long story about that whole thing about, like, Yannetti filed a motion saying that there's government witnesses who don't want to testify, or implying that we would like a list of them, right? So I know everything about that. I know everything about that. What I'm saying is this is all I'm going to say, because I'm frustrated with that. I've seen no evidence of that. And if this source is full of shit and is wasting everyone's fucking time, I am going to fucking eviscerate her. Fucking eviscerate her. Do not waste my lawyer's time. Do not waste Karen Reed's lawyer's time with your fucking bullshit. That's all I'm going to say about that. And you know who you are, JD. You know. So I certainly because you never talked to me. For some reason, you reached out to my lawyers and you seem to really want to be involved in this case, but you never spoke to me. So I don't know what, you better be fucking serious. If I find out that you're wasting everyone's fucking time with conspiratorial bullshit, I'm going to be fucking pissed and I'm going to fucking say some shit. So you better fucking deliver, or else I'm going to be fucking pissed. Do not waste my lawyer's time. Do not waste Karen's lawyer's time. That's what I have to say about that. So that whole motion that you see there, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen, it's complete fucking bullshit from somebody. It's just yet another person who wants to be fucking involved. That's all I've seen. Now, they can prove me wrong. But I am sick of having everyone's time wasted with that shit. So they better fucking come through. That's all I'm going to fucking say about that. I've had quite enough about that. It's fucked up. When you see everyone in the comments, you get in turtle chats like this, asking about this, because it's been presented in court now, right? It's been presented in court now. And you got all these people getting their hopes up that, oh, is there a witness who's going to change their story? And there's entire fucking shows and streams about who's flipping, who's going to do this. I'm telling you right fucking now, nobody. From what I've seen, and I know shit that you guys don't know, it appears, I believe it's bullshit. I believe it's all made up. I believe it's a fucking lie from somebody who wants to be involved. That's it. I think it's fucking bullshit. So if this person wants to prove me wrong, again, I've never even spoke to this person. They need to fucking come fucking through with receipts or shut the fuck up, because you know who you are. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having conversations about this topic. I'm sick of our time, resources being diverted to this. That's it. So that's what I'm going to fucking say. Anyway, back to this. Because you know who you are. And I just want to put them on notice to be like, I know you fucking better come through. If I fucking find out that you're wasting everyone's time on this shit, I'm going to fucking lose it on you. So fucking come through or shut the fuck up. That's it. Anyway, because I don't deal with this. I don't deal with time wasters. I've seen so many of these fucking people since this trial started that want to get involved. Oh, I have this thing. I have this hot piece of evidence that you need to tell Karen. The Sean of the Gulfs of the world. People like that never come through. That just all they do is waste people's time. All they do. So that's it. Okay. You've been warned. You've been warned. Come through or shut the fuck up. That's it. The next time you call my lawyers, it better be with fucking receipts. Because I've had quite enough. Anyway, back to this. And Krusty's going to find out too. Put it that way. Back to this. Okay. Next up, nobody sends $10 and goes, how can they say the Celebrate is not accurate when lots of people probably went to prison because of it? That's the $1 million question that we're all asking. Nobody. Thank you very much. Rich Schiffer, our guy, my boy, Shiffy Schiff, the Duck Master, sends $25 and goes, great show tonight. Well, thank you very much, Rich. I appreciate that. Thank you. Next up is Lauren sends $5 and goes, is Matt single? No, he's not. As you saw there, he's not. He's got a girlfriend. Asking for a friend. Me, I'm the friend. Also, love you, doctor. Well, thank you, Lauren. Nobody sends $5 and goes, why is Brendan trying to exclude every expert witness on the defense? Is it because he knows his case is shit? I think you just answered your own question. Nobody. Thank you. Mr. Hanky Poo sends $5, goes, hey, Doc, here's $5 for tonight's YouTube presentation. I forgot about that. YouTube presentation. That's what we're going to call this tonight. My YouTube presentation. And says, also, can you explain where did Meal of Food come from? Honestly, it came organically when I said it outside of C.F. McCarthy's. I've never used that phrase before. But it's a line from Old School that I just always thought was funny. It's kind of a throwaway line that Will Ferrell says when he calls his ex-wife up and he's like, maybe we can get something to eat, maybe like a whole meal of food. And I just channeled that for some reason during the C.F. McCarthy's incident. And it's been a thing ever since. So there's that. Thank you. Next up, Sarah sends $5, goes, standout announcement next Sunday, April 27th, 12 to 2 at Monument Square in Portland, Maine. Round 2. Let's fucking go. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy, and fuck the Zuck. Well, thank you very much, Sarah, for that announcement and everything. Lauren sends $15, goes, hey, Daddy, I've been wanting to send you some info, but I've been hesitant because of some close connections. Now that trial 2 is starting, my conscience tells me I may have to send it to you. Where should I send it since your Facebook was deactivated? That's actually a good question. If anybody wants to reach me now, I suppose the easiest way would be emailing me. My email is turtleboysports@gmail.com. turtleboysports@gmail.com. Again, if you have a theory, I'm just going to delete it. I don't want to hear your theories. I don't care about your theories. They mean nothing to me, and please do not waste your time or my time doing that. So, but I'm not saying that's what you're going to do, but you can reach me now because most people used to just message me on Facebook Messenger. That is now apparently no longer going to be an option. So my email is turtleboysports@gmail.com. Thank you. Next up, Krusty's Filter sends $50 and goes, why was David Yannetti allowed to mention the grand jury in his opening arguments? He said it at least twice, but during the trial, the defense couldn't mention the grand jury at all. P.S. Megan McCabe was a mega bitch in high school, so I loved seeing her on Ratchet Madness. I believe that would be Stoughton High School. Yeah, she's a pig. She's so fat. Hey, Megan McCabe, knock, knock. Who's there? You're fat. You're fat. That's the joke. You're fucking fat and gross and disgusting. And your husband like thinks about other women on the very rare occasions where he's forced to have sex with you. Okay? Just want to remind you of that. You're a pig. Your husband, your brother is also fat. Your whole family's fat and gross, and you're disgusting, and you're a pig. So fuck off, pig. That's what my thoughts on Megan McCabe Mallon is. Anyway, back to this. And why wasn't he allowed to mention the grand jury? Well, they always mentioned the grand jury. They just called it another proceeding. What they weren't allowed to mention was that there was a federal grand jury. They just always said another proceeding. And there was a state grand jury, which they were allowed to mention was a grand jury. So I think that's what he referenced. So thank you. Here's my question. Anytime during the trial, will Megabeth, Aaron O'Keefe, or Aaron O'Keefe's mother be sitting with the O'Keefe family? What do you guys think? Will any of those three be sitting with the O'Keefe family throughout the trial? What do you guys think? I mean, that would be because they were there all the time. It was hard to miss Megabeth. On the days Megabeth was there, less people were invited from the O'Keefe family because she took up 3 seats. That's just a fact. Megabeth got almost the whole row to herself. So we'll see if Megabeth is there or not. People are saying no. People are saying no. I'm just saying, we'll see. All right, back to this. Bob Brown sends $25, goes, TB, a bit over a year ago on Easter Sunday, you bagged Rafferty. And I got that tip from you, Bob, actually. You bagged Rafferty for running over an elderly man in a crosswalk in Rentham and hiding it for 47 days. He had 13 surgeries. She got a $200 citation. It never would have been exposed if not for you. Thanks for all of us praying for any justice. Actually, Bob, don't sell yourself short. It never would have come out without you, actually. Because I'm only as good as my sauces. You know, I am an award-winning journalist, but even I work on tips. You know, people give me tips. So, you know, he gave me the tip, and I spent my Easter going to Rentham, getting that police report, and exposing Lion Helena Rafferty. So thank you very much for that one, Bob. All right, next up. Got a bunch of these tonight. Brother Turtle sends $5 and goes, I was thinking those folks leaving 34 actually didn't see John's body on the lawn when they left because he wasn't out there when they left. Yeah, nothing gets by you, Brother Turtle. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Spanky McDumbfuck sends $10 and goes, just wanted to say, sorry for trying to make you take the stand the other day. I appreciate that. When I see you, I just get super hard thinking about the Intimidator. Well, you wouldn't. Who doesn't? And I wanted to shoot my shot. Well played, Daddy. Well, my pleasure, Spanky. You know, I can't blame you for thinking about that. And you gave it a shot. Didn't work out the way you wanted it to. But, you know, better luck next time. Better luck next time. All right, next up. Karen sends $10 and goes, I went to high school with Alex Sesney. He is a lot. Tread carefully. Just looking out for you. I'm not like, I'll probably never talk to the guy. He sent me a fucking letter in the mail. But that's just wild how like the talk of the chow hall at Shirley Max is, bro, have you called Turtleboy yet? Have you considered that? When I was in jail, I had all these, I wasn't even allowed around prisoners, but when I was, they would always invite me over and just be like, you got to look into my case. You got to look into my case. You got to look at this judge. I got Kearney, blah, blah, blah. There's always something. Everybody had a story. So thank you very much for that. Susan sends $10, goes, just because we've been entertained on a Saturday night. Thanks, Susan and Andy. My pleasure, Susan. 7-pounder sends $10, goes, if Alina needs to get away from ICE. Oh, I forgot about Alina. I still want to marry her. I can buy her a couch. Also proud to support. Will you ever accept an honorary journalism degree from an Ivy League school if offered? Of course, 7-pounder. Of course. Thank you. KD sends $5 and says, I heard 34 Fairview has a for sale sign outside it. Didn't know that. Interesting. Thank you. Next up, Nick sends $10, goes, I'm from Scotland. I visited New York City last week. I'm seriously considering visiting Dedham. Then I realized the dumbass buffer zone. All this to say the world is watching because of you, Turtleboy. Kudos, free Kearney. Well, let me just tell you right now, fuck the buffer zone. Buffer zone means shit. I hope that doesn't deter anyone from coming down there. We will get creative, motherfucker. Just come, bring a fucking lawn chair like last time. Sit on the fucking sidewalk. If they don't let you in the buffer zone, just sit right outside it where everyone else is. Now, I will say this. Mark Randazza filed a lawsuit that, we probably wasn't going to win anyway, saying the buffer zone was constitutional in federal court. The judge said it was constitutional, and apparently there was some letter from businesses. Let me bring it up right now. Actually, see if I got this here. I'll find this. There was some group of local businesses that chimed in and wrote a letter. See if I can find this. Hold on. It's 11 pages. I love how they say the buffer zone is designed for Karen Reed to have a right to a fair trial. Like, that's such bullshit. Like, stop it. That's not why you have a buffer zone. Oh, here it is. Okay. The plaintiffs argue they were not provided a meaningful opportunity to be heard, but they don't point to any facts to support their assertion, except the fact that we weren't heard. Rather, the record indicates that the trial judge heard from the community regarding the Commonwealth's motion for a buffer zone, and that local merchants made requests specifically pertaining to that motion. Such opportunity to be heard is further affirmed by the second order, which indicates the trial judge recognized, quote, the list of concerns sent to the court by the, quote, Karen Reed Trial Prepare Together Group. Again, it's called the Karen Reed Trial Prepare Together Group, a group of local business owners and organizations that experienced issues with protesters during the first trial. So some group of local businesses in Dedham who formed a support group here, contacted Judge Bev about the buffer zone. So let me be very clear about, I have to find out who these businesses are that are complaining about them. And I'm going to fucking sit in front of their store. Okay. And I'm going to hold the protest outside of their fucking store. Right. Don't blame fucking, I am so sick of this shit. So, I mean, some of these townies in Dedham are like complaining, like some of the people that want to go jogging through there and like, why are all you people here? Because we fucking want to be. Why aren't you out here? Okay, you don't want to be here? Fine. Don't fucking get mad at us. We're here for an injustice. We don't want to be here. Talk to them inside. They're the reason we're here right now. Talk to Auntie Bev. So this whole buffer zone too, with these idiot fucking small businesses, not all of them, I'm sure. I haven't seen who signed this thing. I want to find out. What they don't realize is that this new fucking order, it just sends everybody your direction. We were all on the west side of the courthouse. Big, open, green spaces. We could sit down all day and fucking do our thing. Now everyone's being pushed to the center of town where all the businesses are. It's about to get a lot worse. And initially I felt bad until I saw this. Now you can go fuck yourselves, because we have a right to be out there. We'll be there every fucking day. And if you don't like it, you should be complaining to Judge Kearney because she did this to you. Instead, you're writing letters to her saying we want the buffer zone. Well, you fucking got it. So enjoy it. Now, I will say this. I'm sure there's plenty of great businesses in the center of Dedham. Anyone who didn't sign this order, you should be giving this letter. You should be giving your business to. Dedham House of Pizza, I'm sure didn't sign this shit. I hope not, because I go there a lot. The bagel place, Salem Food Market, which has great turkey. I used to eat it. They cater. They provide food when you're in lockup. And they have nice turkey sandwiches. Yeah. So there's that. Thank you for that. Anyway, back to this. I don't know how I went off on that, but let's see. Glamasuz sends $25 and says, Happy Easter to all. Happy Easter to you, Glamasuz. I appreciate that. B&B, the OG, sends $5, goes, Hi, Dr. Turtleboy. What does hackorama mean? I tried looking it up and couldn't find it. I'm from California. Is that an East Coast word? Thanks. Yeah, it's a Howie Carr term. Howie Carr is a local conservative talk radio host. And because conservatives are an overwhelming minority in Massachusetts, we're usually like complaining about people in power because we're a minority, which is why they have all the power. And the hackorama refers to how government hacks, like people who aren't talented enough to work in the private sector, just kind of take care of each other and give each other promotions and raises. And Auntie Bev is the hackorama personified, basically. So that's what the hackorama is. So thank you for that. Okay. Next. Got some cash apps to bang through here. Okay, I think. Okay. Holly sends $25, goes, way behind on your live show tonight, but rock on. Well, thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. I love when that happens, when you start turning on a stream. I start turning on a stream and it's like, I don't want to listen to it live because I like listening in 1.5 speed. So I go back and I start listening and they start talking about something and I'm like, oh, I'd like to chime in on this. But then in the chat, like they're 30 minutes ahead of me. So I'm like, well, it's too late. I can't even talk about this now. So I've been there before. So thank you, Ollie. Joellen sends $20 and goes, free Karen Reed, free talk to Turtleboy. Let's fucking go. Thank you, Joellen. Mallory sends $10, goes, for how is Framed 2.0 coming along? Release date, hopefully Monday. That's what we're hoping for. Hopefully to have it done officially Monday, right before the trial. Wouldn't that be nice? Thank you, Mallory. Larisha sends $15, goes, can you have Sean Ellis, defense attorney, on for one show? I actually tried hiring her. She was my first call. I'd love to have her on if she'd ever want to come on. Rosemary is her name. Charles sends $10, goes, move the thing in front of the camera. It's making you pink. There's no thing. There's no thing in front of the camera. Nothing. So I don't know what that means. Thanks, Charles. Catherine sends $40 and goes, proud payoff. The first round of Jen McCabe's shirt. Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Don't know what that means, but thanks. Mama She sends $50 and goes, Dr. Daddy, great show. Thank you, Mama She. I appreciate that. Catherine sends $5, goes, so happy to see you live. Talk about some anxiety. Like the song, Anxiety, that one, the meme. Okay, thank you. Emily sends $8 and goes, keep doing you, buddy. You're killing it. I appreciate that. Okay. Let me just refresh this. 34 Fairview is on Zillow for what? Is it really? I'm going to look on Zillow right now. Let's go on there a lot. Let's go to Zillow. Canton, Mass. Okay. It doesn't come up. It's not on Zillow when I search it. Doesn't appear to be for sale. Again, all the homes in Canton are $1 million homes. For like I'm looking at one home, $900,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,100 square feet. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Like, okay, I see one here for $630,000 next to CF McCarthy's. Oh, it's a condo. $350,000. Let's see what that is. 800 square feet. $600,000 in Canton. Condo. As soon as I see condo, I'm like, next. No condo. Okay, townhouse. Same shit. A lot of townhouses in Canton apparently for sale. But anyway, that's that. I did not know that Fairview Road was for sale. All right, some more turtle chats here. Lori sends $5, goes, Doctor, have you thought about trademarking your name, Dr. Turtleboy? I haven't, but I'll consider it. Thank you. Julie sends $10, goes, opinion or not? Testing unknown male DNA on the clothing. Pants possibly. Don't know what that means, but thank you for the $10. B&B, the OG, sends $5, goes, hi, Dr. Turtleboy. Oh, no, I already read that one. Okay, cool. If anyone else wants their turtle chats read, you can hit up the link at the top for turtle chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. Okay. Let's end this evening by watching this. It's bad. It's really bad, but we need to watch it just to expose these assholes. I'm famous. There I am on CourtTV. Okay, so this is Julie Grant. Julie Grant, and she's a joke in and of herself, but they've also got on what's her name? Wendy Murphy, which at this point, if you're hosting Wendy Murphy on your show, you're not even trying to be taken seriously. Like, you're not even. Wendy Murphy is a Duke lacrosse truther who routinely says some of the most batshit insane bullshit on her Twitter. She also is the reason that Grant Smith Ellis is a thing. And by the way, I don't even know why we call him Grant Smith Ellis. That's not his name. His name is Grant Ellis. There's no Smith. Nobody in his family is named Smith. That's not his mom's maiden name. Nothing. He just added Smith Ellis because he thinks it makes him sound smarter. His name is Grant Ellis. And Wendy Murphy fired that miscreant out of her stench trench. And she is responsible for that. That is her contribution to the world, is Grant. Okay? So the fact that they are even giving this woman any sort of platform is in and of itself a joke. And the funny part is Julie Grant considers herself serious. Like, she takes herself seriously. And it's like, that's what I asked Matt Kubacki earlier on. It's like, have they invited you on? It's like, there's plenty of legal people out there who would be happy to go on and are serious people and would like to talk about this. I never see Bettero invited on, it's like, but instead this woman is invited on this again. Who else has Julie Grant had on her show? fake victim who sat there for 10 minutes and didn't say a fucking word. Crusty Panties, who claimed to be a close friend of the O'Keefe's. Who else? Oh, Plevin. Plevin's a regular. These are just such unserious people. DePetro, Mad Mike, or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Like, this is the best they could find. The best. But anyway, let's play some of this. I got to grab it.
Welcome back. This morning, we're taking a look at how a potential witness in the Karen Reed retrial could tip the scales. We're talking about Turtleboy, whose real name is Aidan Kearney. He's a self-published blogger and arguably
the self-published blogger. She's getting her fucking talking points from, what's her name? Self-published blogger. Bitch, what are you? You're fucking nobody. You've never been a real attorney, Julie Grant. You're a joke. Your fucking face is the fakest thing. Like, talk about Botox. You, like, too much. You're too young to have that much fucking Botox, right? You're a joke. No one takes you seriously. You were never a real attorney. You're on TV because of all the Botox. That's the only reason that you're on there. And you are a fucking clown. So honestly, for you to call me that, and by the way, you would never dare actually debate me on any of this. This is why you have on all these fucking jokes on your show. And Julie, I come to Dedham. Please, let's have a conversation, you and I, because your colleague, Matt Johnson's a great guy, right? He knows your bullshit too. He knows your bullshit. He knows, like, I've seen him on your show. He doesn't take you seriously. No one takes you seriously. Okay. Just a reminder. But anyway, back to this.
Most outspoken Karen Reed advocate. And we learned in court on Wednesday what he plans to do if he's called as a witness by the Commonwealth.
There's really no reason to beat around the bush here, Your Honor. The Commonwealth is not going to call my client, Mr. Kearney, who for the record is in the second row here today.
Can I just ask, if he were to call your client, would he take the fifth?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Brennan, do you agree that Mr. Kearney has a Fifth Amendment right?
I think he has a Fifth Amendment privilege. I don't know that he has a Fifth Amendment privilege to all questions we would ask, but the content that we would go into, I think he clearly would have a Fifth Amendment privilege.
All right, so you're not asking for a Louis Martin hearing?
I'm not. I think I necessarily would have to delve into issues regarding his open indictments against a number of different victims.
Okay.
And I think there's other information that I can't discuss for other reasons because of court orders.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I would suggest that the court could take judicial notice of the 16 indictments against him.
So the Commonwealth concedes, and I believe there's a valid Fifth Amendment right.
It's important to note that Turtleboy is the only witness in the case to take the fifth. None of the innocent witnesses that he is alleged to have intimidated have taken it.
Okay, so imagine being this fucking retarded and being on TV. So let me explain something to you, Julie, because you're obviously too stupid to understand this, and you blocked me on Twitter, so you're obviously not gonna, you're not gonna respond. You don't have it in you to have an actual debate about this. So I'm just gonna talk to you because I know you're listening. Okay. You see, the reason that I pled the fifth and they didn't is because I have several indictments on me and they don't. That's the most obvious reason. I know that's the most obvious difference between us, which you are aware of, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're actually that retarded where you don't understand the difference between them. And you call them innocent. That's not a fact at all. They're far from innocent. Okay. Innocent people don't behave the way that they did. Now, if you're that retarded, you actually believe that, which you might be that retarded. You've seen it. Then that's understandable, I guess. And, but the fact of the matter is they're not innocent. And the main reason I pled the fifth is what Brado said. Let's not beat around the bush. They're not going to call him. If I thought there was any chance that Spanky Brennan was going to call me and put me up on that stand, I would reevaluate my position. But he knows, and we know, that he would never do that because that would be a fucking disaster. He knows that the only reason that slimy little cunt put me on that witness list is to prevent me from doing what I'm doing right now, my show. Okay. And getting them donos and getting them turtle chats. That's what he just wanted to fuck with me. He's trolling. The whole thing was a troll job. Now, I don't know if you know that or if you're that stupid. The crusty panties of the world, they know that. They're well aware that this was a troll job. You might be that retarded that you actually think that there was ever a chance I was going to do that. So if he's going to troll me, I'm not going to take him seriously. No, I'm not playing your fucking game. I have a right. I'm going to exercise it because you're not going to keep me. You're not going to play this fucking game with me. He couldn't even explain when he got up there. Are you going to call him? He's like, I don't know. That's a fucking no. You don't put someone on the witness list if you don't know if you're going to fucking call them. That's it. That was the giveaway right there, that you knew this whole thing was a fucking joke. So me pleading the fifth, let's just say this. I got it. I won, right? I wasn't allowed in the courtroom before. Now I am. I was sequestered before, so I couldn't talk about the case or do my show. And now I can. So you can put it together yourself why I did that. But on the record, Fifth Amendment. Oh, yeah, totally. I don't want to incriminate myself. Totally. That's why. All right, anyway, back to this.
Every single one of them has testified, and they will all do so again. So what does that tell you about Turtleboy? Let's talk about it. I want to bring back in attorney.
What does that tell you about Turtleboy? He wants to get in the courtroom. That's it. That's what it tells us.
Wendy Murphy and attorney John Phillips. Wendy, starting with you.
And also, like, why wouldn't she invite me on? Why not just invite me on or bring my lawyer on? If you were running a real show that was actually looking to report the news, that's who you would bring on. Instead, you're bringing on a crazy person. Just look at Wendy's face. You're bringing on a crazy person.
The turtle's going to hide inside of his shell at the trial. Your thoughts?
That was a good one. Can I refer to him as the turd instead of the turtle? Because I'm trying to be as polite as...
Like, imagine these grown-ups on here. And these are the people trying to... First of all, if you think that hurts me, you're fucking retarded. Okay? Like, that's the best you can come up with. Oh, can I call him the turd? And they're like both laughing. Like, you guys don't actually think that's funny. Like, there's no person in the world's like, oh my God, she called him the turd. Oh, wow, that's so funny. That's retarded. Okay, that's not even good humor. I could respect a good joke at my expense. But that's just like, if I was on your side, I'd be like, as my daughter would say, that's cringe. That's fucking boomer humor right there. That is cringe. And they're both laughing and smiling like, oh, that's funny. But we know that you guys don't actually think that's funny. You're just, oh yeah, we have to please Wendy. However, this is allegedly a serious show, right? This is supposed to be serious people talking about serious legal matters. And you have somebody come on and they're like, I call him the turd. If you're a grown up in that situation and you're Julie Grant, don't you say that's easy now? We're not going to, when I called Carl Dougal a local idiot or something like that, local moron, Vinnie Politan like jumped in and was like, whoa, no name calling. But here they're like laughing and shit. And then they have the audacity to complain and clutch their pearls. Oh, Turtleboy's calling people cunts and calling them mean. And oh my God, he's so mean. And they're up there, turd. They dehumanize. This is like and this is why you should not feel bad about this. All the outrage you see about like our tactics and the things I'm saying or doing, they all do it. And that's why I fucking do it. Because I'm real. I call them out. I actually do this shit. And guess what, Julie Grant? I have 1,000,000 times your fucking audience. And I earned it. I built this fucking empire here. You fucking work at CourtTV and get Botox. That's why you're on TV. Not because you're talented or built anything. Is because you're just a talking head. They needed a woman. Let's be honest. You wouldn't be on there if you had a dick. Okay. You wouldn't be on there if you were fat. I don't see a lot of fat chicks on Court TV. You're on there because you got a lot of work done on your face. And you talk like this, and you talk like everything is that, oh my God. And you're not good. You fucking suck. You're a joke. Everyone's laughing at you, but go ahead.
I can without offending everybody in your audience. And, the words that I'm thinking of using are probably objectionable. He is the most repulsive, harmful, destructive force in this case by far. Now, let's just be clear. I respect that he has a right to assert his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. It's an important constitutional right. But what that means to us in the public is we can and should infer that he is hiding evidence that proves he committed crimes.
Imagine graduating from law school and actually believing that when people take the Fifth Amendment, you have to infer that they're hiding, committing crimes. Imagine that. That is such an elementary legal concept that you learn right away, that pleading the Fifth does not infer that you're hiding criminal acts. It's your right. You don't have to talk about your own case. And that is what they were going to bring me up to talk about, was my own charges. Okay? You don't, just because it's someone else's trial and they want to talk about my charges doesn't mean it's outrageous. It's just common sense that, of course, it would have been legal malpractice for my attorneys to allow me to take the stand. They would have been like, we completely object to this, but he insists on doing it. This is why you pay your attorneys, because they tell you what to fucking do. And they tell you what's in your best interest. And what's in my best interest was being in the courtroom. And guess what? I got in. And that's why I pay lawyers, because they get shit done. They achieve objectives. And if the worst thing that could happen as a result of that is that some retard like Wendy Murphy gets up here and says, ooh, that means he's guilty, then I'll take it. Then I will take that trade any day of the week, because she was going to say that no matter what.
Let's just be clear about that. Innocent people do not invoke the Fifth Amendment. Now, let me be clear. When I say innocent, I mean people with nothing to hide, because as the judge made reference, and you heard it in that clip, if the
here's the thing, I do have nothing to hide. You know how I know I have nothing to hide? Because they got my phone. They got, what else is, what the phone is like the cornucopia of information on a human being. It is everything located in one thing, and they got that. They have every message I've ever sent to anyone, and they don't have a single fucking thing in my phone that was useful against me or Karen Reed. Nothing. That's the reason why they took it. They took my phone. They took my computer. They got my bank records. They got my car payment records. They got it all. One payment. Okay? They got it all. And they couldn't find a single piece of evidence to use against me or Karen Reed. But yeah, I sure have a lot to hide. Sure.
Prosecutor thought that his invocation of the Fifth Amendment was not in good faith, that he was just doing it as an excuse so he could sit in the courtroom and pretend to be a reporter, they would have had a hearing. The judge could have said, I find that his assertion of this privilege is not in good faith. He must testify. No, everyone in the room said, he's got stuff to hide. He's a criminal. He's got massive.
He's a criminal? That's fucking libelous right there. Criminal is a word. You don't get to call people criminals because you feel like it. I've never been convicted of a crime, nor will I ever be convicted of a crime. And I've never said that my reason for doing this is to be in the courtroom. I'm very happy with that outcome. But I'm doing this because I have a Fifth Amendment right to do it, and doesn't matter what my reasoning is. There's that. But I'm in, and I will never outright say that I only pled the Fifth so I can get in the courtroom. No. I pled the Fifth because it's my right to, and that's that. Period.
exposure here in terms of spending a good amount of time behind bars once he's convicted. So absolutely let him take the fifth, but let's all understand what that means.
Yes.
He's done some very bad things in this case.
What?
He needs to take the fifth because if he did testify against himself, that wouldn't be good for his liberty. That's what it all means.
Right. He'd be in even worse trouble than he's already in. You're right, Wendy.
What the fuck? I'd be in worse trouble. How do you know that? Truth be told, oh my God, I would not be in any trouble if I took the stand. But why, what am I offered in return for this? What? I'm giving up my right to be in the courtroom for what? The thing is, our biggest thing was that you're not calling me. This is a fucking stunt. And that's all Hank did this for. Hank did this because he knew we were going to do the Fifth Amendment thing, or he knew that either A, I was going to be banned from the courtroom. That's option A, which is a win for him. Or B, I plead the fifth, and in which case he knows that these retards are going to go on here and say this. That's why Hank did everything that he did.
And how about the point, I think this can't be underscored enough, that the reason he's got those 16 indictments we heard referenced are because he allegedly intimidated these witnesses, these independent people who didn't ask to be part of this case, just happened to be there that night and can offer something. These innocent people. They
intimidated them. I mean, really? Chris Albert told me he could beat my face up and down the sidewalk. Julie Nagel harassed Meredith and I outside of CF McCarthy's. I mean, but these are innocent people. Oh my God. They're so scared. They're so intimidated. Right. Sure thing. Sure thing.
They all testified. They all were very open in trial number 1. They're all going to testify again in trial number 2. None of them are taking the fifth.
Look at this retard. Who's the fuck is this guy? I'd like to know about him. Who's this guy's name? Who's he?
He's accusing all of them of hiding something. John Phillips, what does that say to you about him?
It says a lot. And he did an interview with the Intelligencer. I'm not familiar with it, but he described himself, and I got to look down, as 3 things. 1, an activist. Okay. He said it, an activist.
Yes.
2, a journalist.
Yes.
And 3, an entertainer or satirist. Those 3 things are entirely inconsistent. You can't be an investigator and go through a case and have.
Yes, you can. I know you're not used to this because it's not usually how things are done, but you can. If you're talented, you wouldn't know what that's like because you're not talented. You're not good at anything, John Phillips. I mean, just look at your fucking suit. Look at this hideous collection of clothing that you've thrown together, knowing that you're going to be on television. Just look, you scream mediocrity. Just scream it. Ken Mello comes better dressed than you do. He had that one suit, but he wore it better than you. What the fuck is this ensemble? My stylist would be fucking spinning around right now, and like steam would be coming out of her fucking head looking at you. If I ever went on TV and looked like that, you look like a fucking child going to his first communion or some shit. Like, look at you. Look at you. Anyway. Back to, like, to say I can't be all 3. Oh, why not? Where's that written? First of all journalists are activists in some way. We could pretend that Sue O'Connell is just an unbiased whatever. Although Sue says she's a commentator. Like, before the Karen Reed case, Sue was the most flaming liberal that there is. And she's a reporter on TV. But everybody knew that she's not going to cover Trump fairly. She's not going to cover Black Lives Matter fairly. You know that because she's biased. Every reporter is biased, whether or not they want to admit it. They're all activists in their own way. And yes, some of them are even funny. Not many. Some of them are funny. So I'm extremely talented in that I have the journalistic skills that are superior to all these people. I'm a born leader, which makes me an activist, and I can make you laugh. I'm somewhat of a satirist. And so I know this guy is just like this. Nobody can be all 3 of those things. Nobody has ever been the combination of all 3 of those things. Welcome to Daddy's world. Okay. This is how things work around here. I actually am all those things. and get used to it because I'm going to be around for a while. I'm a true crime guy now. This is not my last story. I'll be back. As I said before, I got me indicted.
Have objectivity while also being an entertainer, while also worried about your YouTube hits and your social media, bouts. And that's the problem here is he's trying to wear all of these hats and one's interfering with the other. And certainly he has a Fifth Amendment right. And with an open indictment, the prosecutors certainly don't want to go into that and reveal some information that shouldn't be revealed yet. But it creates this conflict. And, again, he's a guy that wears, and markets free Karen Reed t-shirts.
Okay.
That's not objective. He gets exposure and he gets money.
I don't pretend to be objective. Like what? What is he even saying? What does any of this have to do with me pleading the Fifth? He's not objective. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Because you can't be objective on this case. If you're being objective on the camera, I mean, you can. But if you're being objective, then you believe Karen Reed's innocent because that's what the facts show. So this idea that people who are like, I don't know who's right or who's wrong on this one, that those are the objective people. No, those are the dishonest people. Those people are fake. People that say that they know that the facts all point one way, but they've just been trained to show both sides and be like, well, we don't know who's right or who's wrong. The fact that 90% of Americans are on one side should probably make you realize that actually everybody seems to agree with him. So there's that.
Money from her free campaign.
What?
And yet, won't testify. It's gross where we're headed with social media and
he's making money. Bro, you have a fucking alligator in your background with a fucking hat on. And you're mad at me for not being a serious person. Like, bro, just look at that. You set up your fucking scene like this. And you're like, you know what I want to make sure I capture in the background? The goddamn alligator with the party hat on. That's what I want to put on there. I mean, just look at this guy's background. What? He's got a fucking Superman cape framed in his back. What the fuck is that? What is this? Does this guy live in a museum? What is going? He's got a basketball, some helmets over here, some ties. It's a closet too. Is there a closet baby in there? I don't know. Just look at this guy. What a fucking slob.
Podcasters, interfering with court.
Right. You're so right, John.
You're
I have
so
seen
right.
so much more disinformation about this case, disinformation and misinformation about this case than I have any.
Yeah, most of it comes from you, bitch. I've seen more disinformation and misinformation than I have. What's the difference between the two? Do you know? And tell me one piece of disinformation, Julie Grant, that I've spread on my show. Give me
The other one I have ever covered. This has been the most vile case for so many reasons, and the victim has gotten lost. And I know you.
The most vile case for so many reasons. You platformed Krusty Panties. You platformed Krusty Panties. Do we have to bring up the tweet she put up when my mother died? Do we need to do that? You platformed the fake victim who has dropped off the face of the earth ever since she was charged for telling a woman that she was going to murder her and her children. And her children? Back to this.
Both appreciate that so much as you are advocates for victims. And when we think about what this is really about, this trial has turned into a shameful circus. It really has. And when we think about the origination of this circus, who does it go back to? Gee, Mr. Turtleboy.
I'm the origination of this circus. Bitch, this was always a circus. I just put a spotlight on it. I put a big mirror up to the circus and I'm like, look at yourself. And then a lot of people saw that circus and were like, holy shit, that's a fucking crazy circus. I need to be a part of that circus. Like, I didn't create Michael Proctor's text messages. I didn't do that. No. I didn't plant taillight. Nope. I didn't lie about what time I towed a car. I didn't invert a video of a Sally Port garage. I didn't do any of that. I assure you, the circus was not created by me. What you're seeing outside the courthouse is a reaction to the circus. It's the crowd reacting to the circus. That's what it is. When you bring a circus to town, expect a crowd. That's the whole point of a circus, right? Is it's supposed to attract a crowd. So the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office created this circus, and we go and watch it. That's what it is.
And his friend, Ms. Karen Reed, now this relationship is being exposed. Your thoughts on how Hank Brennan has now made public what those two kept quiet for so long?
Yeah, really important in this case. And by the way, I know we've been saying the only person who took the fifth was this turd man, but Karen took the fifth too. Let's be honest about it, right? So the two criminals took the fifth. Who's surprised? Nobody. But one of the important things in this case that we really didn't see last time, we all thought about it, but we didn't hear it from the prosecutor per se in a way that sounded like it was going to make a big difference. Hank Brennan now is saying, part of what's going on in this case is a disinformation campaign bought and paid for by this criminal who thinks that that's a tactic that, you know, in defense attorney school, one of the things they allow you to do is just pay.
I'm going to her house. I need Wendy's address. We need to knock on her door. She's not a witness. I'm allowed to do it. I'm never going to see her in real life. She's never going to come to the courthouse. She'll never show her face, but she's saying a lot of shit. And people like this need to be confronted to their face. So I'm going to need their address, and I'm going to be taking a trip to Belmont and knocking on some doors. I think it's about time. I think it's about time. I can't go anywhere near the witnesses, but I don't think she's a witness. I don't think she's a witness. So Grant will be there. Grant will invite me over. I won't touch the dollhouse. I'll leave the dollhouse alone. People are like, don't worry, don't do it. I'm allowed to go to Wendy Murphy's house. Okay. She's not a witness. I can ask her questions. Okay. I went to Mike Fucci's house. I did all that. I'm allowed to do that. That's it. I'll bring Richie with me. How about that? I'll bring Richie with me. Anyway, back to this.
Pay for PR firms and pay for protesters to show up and pay for bot farms so that social media creates this frenzy and sense that you're actually innocent and it's all a conspiracy. I mean, there are so many mentally ill people who will just buy into that regardless of the evidence. So I think what Hank Brennan's doing is making that part of his case now, saying, not only am I going to prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, I'm going to prove that she was part of a campaign to mislead the public. So that's a very different approach. I was a prosecutor in Massachusetts. I've never had to do that before, both prove my case and disprove nonsense.
Right.
We're going to hear that in this case.
Wendy, thank you for pointing that out. You're right. He's going to expose it all. He already started, and thank goodness for that, because this is just all about getting to the truth. And Wendy, John, you both, of course, know this. Our courties know. Legally, we know Karen Reed is cloaked in the presumption of innocence. Hank Brennan and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts have that burden to carry. And no one, the jury, can hold it against her if she doesn't testify. Point taken, Wendy, that she's done a lot of talking to interviews of her choosing and not in the trial last time. We'll see if she changes her mind this time. Stand by for that. We'll have to leave it here for now, but great points from you both always. Wendy Murphy, John Phillips, I know you're busy people. We have to let you both go.
Oh, yeah, Wendy's real busy. Wendy's real busy. She hasn't had a job forever. She's living off her husband. Maybe I need to finally publish a blog about Wendy's divorce papers, because Wendy needs to be exposed. I mean, she has been exposed for the Duke lacrosse thing and various other things, but how she lives her life in Belmont off of her ex-husband's money, and she just collects it all. She has grown children like Grant, who she still uses to collect alimony. I need to publish her entire fucking probate court docs, because Wendy Murphy blocked me when I posted screenshots from her probate court docs. Maybe I need to do a whole thing on that, because more people need to learn that Wendy has not had a job in decades and lives off of her husband, who she she claims in the probate court docs that he was calling up phone sex lines, and that's why, which I hope he was. I hope something was making that man come, because God knows it wasn't Wendy Murphy. She hasn't made any man come since she was a whore on the Patriots cheerleading staff. She was a Patriots cheerleader, don't you know? back in the Hugh Millen days, I think. All right. Or maybe before that, who knows? Grogan, who knows? But anyway, that's that. Okay. So it's amazing what they'll put on Court TV. It's just amazing. All right, let me read some turtle chats and some cash apps, and we'll call it a night. All right. Cash apps, let's start with today. Larisha sends $15 and goes, is Morrissey paying Julie Grant? She is a fraud. Well, I mean, they say we're all being paid, so I guess we could just make those accusations too. No, we won't do that. I have no idea. Kristen says $25 goes, innocent witness that have lawyers, right? That's a good point. Yeah, why, if they're so innocent, why do they all have high-priced defense attorneys? Why did Brian Higgins literally have his attorney standing next to him during his testimony if he's so innocent? Riddle me that. Christine sends $5 and goes, you're rude, lewd, and crude, and I love it. Free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Christine. I appreciate that. Larisha also sends $50 and says, Julie can hang out with Kofin dummy. Morons. Yes. 7-pounder sends $10, goes, I'm wearing my Free Karen Reed shirt to work on Tuesday. Better time than ever. Thank you, 7-pounder. Larisha sends $15. He goes, Wendy M and you on STS was hilarious. Yeah, that was the only time we went head to head, and I made her look like a fool. Larisha sends $15 and says, Sean Ellis crap is still going on. The doc made me cry. Indeed. Karen sends $20 and goes, Melanie Little and Nurse Kim will be on Court TV Monday night. For real? Nurse Kim's going on there? Nice. And Melanie Little, interesting. That's cool. Yeah, I've been on Court TV a few times. I'd go on again if they asked, but I ain't begging to be on there, and I got a bigger platform than them anyway, so I'm good. Okay, let me read some turtle chats here. Ireland listener sends $10 and goes, when this is all over, you will have books written about you, a movie about your role in freeing an innocent woman and making sure murderers get justice, whereas Plevin will go down as a cop killer supporter and a goldfish level retard. True. History will remember you well. History will forget Plevin if he is lucky. Right. History will forget all of them, but you're right. History will remember the doctor and my part in this. I appreciate that. Sue Bone sends $10, goes, Julie Grant and Wendy Murphy have a cauldron they sit around when they are off camera. How come these idiots get to spew all this shit against you and Karen, but Vinny apparently has to vet everything he says? That's a great question, Sue. It's like Vinny's show tries to be serious. It has Plevin on, so it can't be that serious, but, he does claim to be like a serious, whatever. But like Julie Grant's could just be a free-for-all. Just have all these lunatics on and say crazy shit. And instead of correcting them, she's like, yeah, Hank's going to get to the bottom of it. I really think. Turd boy. The turd. Oh, so cringe. Okay. Nobody sends $25 and goes, how much will it cost you if your case goes to trial? I hope your charges are dismissed or dropped, but 14 indictments sounds like a lot of lawyer time. Well, I have a fee agreement with my attorney, so we're good. Thank you. And the key is going to be the investigators. And honestly, like the money I've raised helps a lot, but it's more than the money I've raised. Let's put it that way. So everything helps. Okay, next up. Danielle sends $25 and goes, hey, Doc, did you catch Auntie Beverage telling Brennan that he's, quote, on an uphill battle during the motion regarding the dog bite experts? I saw that. Hilarious. If no, I'll email you the clip. Tuesday can't come fast enough. Happy Easter. Yes, very much so. Okay, Lori sends $5 and goes, Doctor. No, I already read that one. Okay. All right, got a couple more cash apps here from Larisha again. It says, Wendy, come for me. I don't think you want her to come for you. And you're a loudmouth of lies. Okay, come for Larisha. Come for Larisha there, Wendy. Thank you. Dennis sends $10, goes, hubby thinks you are in rare form tonight and loves it. Well, thank you. I'm glad hubby likes it. Okay, let me just refresh here. Emily Reed sends $10 and goes, some people call you daddy, but I raised my voice 4 octaves and called turtle fucker. Sorry if this has been answered before, but I keep hearing that Celebrate changed their software and somehow this proves the defense expert wrong. Also, what connection does Julie have to bad players here? Because she screams guilty of something herself. I don't know the second question, but the first part, yeah, Ian Whiffen is able to, is in charge, influences Celebrate software updates. And he said that he specifically made sure the recent update kept Jennifer McCabe's Google search at 227 out of it. So it wouldn't show up now in the latest software, he says. But it doesn't prove the defense wrong. All it proves is that they hired a guy that works for Celebrate who can manipulate the software to say what the Commonwealth wants him to say. That's what it means. Nobody sends $20 and goes, can you tell us what was discussed in the Kearney colloquy? Also, what were your big cases prior to Karen Reed? You'd have to go back, just Google TB Daily News top 50 stories. If you come to that, you know, I'll show you. Just Google top 50 stories and you will come across this article I published, the top 50 most influential, newsworthy, effective stories broken by Turtleboy. Okay. And I list them all here. Okay. And kind of answers your question for you and explains each one. And you should definitely do that. Okay, cool. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. As far as the Kearney colloquy, I don't know if I'm allowed to discuss that because there's that sidebar and it's like impounded, but you get the point. There's nothing crazy that was discussed there. Another one here from, okay. Okay, I'm just going to call it a night. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. All right, last two. No more. Sue says $5. He goes, you didn't read the I love you, not from me. Okay. Thank you, Sue. I'm glad you love me. I appreciate that. Happy 420. Amanda sends $10, goes, hey, Unc. So far, I'm new to the Twit-Twat. I've been blocked by a llama in a Tuesday Gazette. Oh, many more to come. Wait till you meet Big Red. And that ratchet Wendy Murphy for being honest and letting her know she was a fucking retarded cunt. That'll happen. That'll happen on the Twit-Twat, as the Broken Baker calls it. So anyway, guys, it's been real. It's Easter. Christ is risen. It's going to be a good day. Tuesday, the next time I see you, the trial will have started. So can't wait for Tuesday. The next show, we'll be talking about opening statements, and it's going to be dope. And it's time to fuck. It's time to fuck on Tuesday. So we're just going to get in that little courtroom and fuck it all out. Let's get this over with. Let's go. We'll see you guys all on Tuesday night, and have a blessed Easter. Peace to your bum crease and brush your teeth.
It calls for data including calendars, alerts, reminders, notes, text messages, pictures, or videos from April 1st, 2023 through and including October 5th, 2023. 7 months